Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live this evening in UFRL, and this is the 100% tier live from the Mexican Grand Prix as we head to North America for round 2 of 12. Last week, of course, we did have the season opener, and what a battle it was, and the Bird came away with the victory, but tonight will the Bird continue that run of form. This is also a no hard tyre race, yes. Soft tyres and medium tyres are the only tyres that will be permitted here through both qualifying and the race. Any driver using hard tyres will be disqualified after the race. And obviously, if they have any incidents, that would be even worse because guess what? That penalty will have to go on to next week. Yes, good evening to Sneaky Turtle in the chat as well. But in terms of the championship standings, let's have a little glimpse over them. I was just sent them a moment or two ago. So we've got the Bird leading, of course, winning last week. Hazer occupies second and Pesci in third. Deck, is he using his real name? Yes, he is. Declan in fourth for the Kick Sauber. Merck is occupying fifth and Rusted Bolt sixth. Destroyer Jack is seventh. Mr. Poem eighth. Anthony ninth and Coffee 10th. Those three drivers at the bottom did not finish last week. Anthony tonight is YNWA, but I'm going to call him Anthony simply because that's what his Discord name is. And trust me, it's a lot easier to say. In a development tier, Bam is leading that one, 18 points to his aim. Viking on 12, Woody 10, then you got Woody Fernandez, Ivy, and Kesonator in there as well. EM, Optimus Prime, Simon, and Baker Gaming did not score points on round 1. So all to play for those drivers. Let's get the game sound up, and then we'll have a little look at the track map as well and the telemetry. And whilst I'm doing that, I will just give you a good evening as well to my co-commentator, That Trash Rack.
Evening, everyone. It's going to be quite an interesting race this weekend. No hard tyres. That's definitely going to pose quite a challenge for our racers. So we'll have to see if any of them can keep up the tyre management and try and avoid any incidents, and definitely try to avoid that hard tyre disqualification. I'm definitely looking forward to this one, Viva.
Yeah, certainly the case, but let's see what Declan could do his first run in the Kick Sauber. And also you've got to think as well, how many sets of soft tyres will the drivers use in qualifying? Because obviously, if you're using all 3 or 4 sets, however many you go with, depending on your tyre allocation, those tyres will go through to the race as well. So you don't really want to be going out more than you need to. Otherwise, you'll be a bit more restricted in the race. So let's see, but Declan just heading into the middle sector. And of course, what can he do for the Kick Sauber Rack?
Well, looking at Declan here, he's definitely flying for that that flying lap. He's definitely quite a quick driver from what I've seen in a few of his races before. And I'm definitely thinking he might get one of the higher spots here, but if I'm going to be honest, I think the higher drivers of this GP are definitely going to be Pesci and Bird, especially after their battle last week. And if I'm going to be honest, I think it's going to be another hell of a fight between the first two again. It's going to be absolutely crazy, especially since we've mentioned before there's no hard tyres. So we'll just have to see what the race holds, Viva.
Yeah, and yeah, for sure. I mean, Declan there going quickest, of course. The first drive to set a time of 14.1. Hazer just about to come up to the line as well. Can he go quicker? It's nowhere near. It's 15.1 for Hazer. He is 1 second down as teammate goes P3. Hazer, though, a long way off. 1 second adrift after his first run. Incredible. Got the Bird as well, just about to start his lap. Ivy goes P4, it's a 16.4 for him. Anthony P2. But Declan at the moment a long way clear off the rest of the field. But let's see what the Bird can set. Mr. Poem also just starting his time. And here comes the Bird, rounding out of turn 17 to the line. And it is quickest, but it is still quite marginal, barely over a tenth of a second. But the Bird is ahead of Declan and on P1 for now, Rack.
Yeah, that was a hell of a lap from Bird. He was keeping that neat and tidy. However, with I think Pesci's starting to make his lap now. Yes, he is. I'm just going to follow Pesci for a moment, and he's just coming up to the line now. As Pesci does. Oh wait, I think Pesci's just starting his flying lap. Actually, yeah, I've. That's weird. He didn't have the out lap up for Pesci, but Pesci's just doing his lap now as he comes down to turn one and down to the corners here, and he is very neat and tidy through those corners. However, he's got traffic up ahead, so that may impede quite a bit. But he's hoping he can catch up and get up to that P2 Viva.
Yeah, certainly. And also, thank you for the follow for Sneaky Turtle, and we sent the Discord link in there. And good evening as well to both Wizard Rex and also to Simon, which we did send you an invite back in. Optimus Prime P9, and also you've got Mr. Poem in the top three, a 14.8 for him, but still quite a distance to both the Bird and Declan. Let's go up towards Rusted Bolt. Something's happened, however, into turn one, where you've got a Ferrari and a Mercedes. Go because I'm on board with Rusted Bolt, but there's a Ferrari literally stuck in the middle of the track. That looks to be Simon, I think. I'm pretty sure Simon he had just joined the lobby, and his car is literally stuck in the middle between turns 1 and 2. I get the feel that might be there for the entirety of the qualifying session, and if it is, good luck to the drivers, making sure they don't obviously you can't get impeded effectively, but that can certainly cause a distraction. Pesci did go second fastest, a 14.100 for him, but he is still behind Labird. Anything you've seen from Vac?
Well, from what I'm seeing here, both Declan and Pesci have the same time, and I mean down to the absolute millisecond. That is just absolutely astounding. However, we have Mr. Poem in P4 with a 114.8, and it looks as if Mr. Poem is. It looks like he's been down, but I definitely think Mr. Poem might be a strong contender for Mexico here because he's always had quite a to the Mexican track. However, he did have a very unfortunate race last week as he did have some contact and he did retire the car. But let's hope that this week is a lot better. My fingers crossed for Mr. P, and hopefully he can get some points this race, Weaver.
Yeah, I'm currently in P5, just ahead of Rusted Bolt. Anthony did improve as well. He went 4 fastest, a 14.6 for him. We're just watching Hayes at the moment. A little bit of a slippery exit, however, of turn 6. He's just about to head into the S through turn 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And let's see what Hayes could do ahead of the Aston Martin there. Very slippery. I wonder if that was Optimus Prime. Yes, it was. He is the only Aston Martin out on circuit at the moment. But Hazer runs wide. Doesn't seem to have invalidated his time though, so Hazer just keeping it fairly together. Although obviously running wide there may have just lost him a little bit of time as well. But let's see what Hazer could do. Running out of 16 and 17, and it will be a 15-0. Barely an improvement, only P7 for Hazer, who does seem to be a bit off the pace at the moment, Zach.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Hazer can find his feet here. He seems to be struggling for grip all over the track, and not only that, but he can't seem to keep his pace up. Hopefully this will improve in the race, and maybe he can pick up a few positions here and there, but judging by the looks of it, he's struggling on Mexico quite a bit, which is unusual for him, because he typically finds his feet quite fast in qualifying, and typically quite a good qualifier. He's definitely a top 5 racer for sure, so wait and see if he can get another lap in and maybe improve. But I'm definitely thinking this might not be a good weekend for Hazer, just judging by the qualifying alone, Viva.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where maybe you don't want to push too hard on the tyres, but at the same time, he has done 4 laps, the joint most of anybody, as Mert goes 5th fastest with a 14.6. So Hayes are now down to P8, invalidating this next run as well in no battery mode. If he's about to go into the pits, maybe he's going to go for a second run, but that might be his final run after that, because again, the tyres that you use in qualifying will go with you into the race as well. So you really don't want to be using all of your tyres unless you absolutely have to. And for a 100% race, I can promise you, when you can't use hard tyres, you certainly want the best tyre wear possible from both the softs and the mediums. Rusty Bolt goes 5th fast as well. And we've got EM just still in P11. Woody about to come up to the line. No, he's not. He opts to head into the pits. He was improving through the middle sector though, but maybe wouldn't have gone ahead of EM ahead of him. So he stays in P12. Anything that you've seen, Rack, recently?
Well, I was just watching Hazer as he the pits, and he almost ended his qualifying session. He lost his rear end going into the turn into the pits, and his rear end just stepped out from underneath him, and he almost lost it into the barrier. However, now I'm watching Frenchie, and Frenchie seems to be doing quite a good lap. He's definitely picking up the pace a little bit, hoping to improve from his 1:15.3, and he is just got the grip going into those S's. Not the most perfect line in the world, but he's definitely picking up the pace. And it looks like one of the Saubers is moving out of the way as he's got a Red Bull. Oh, no, wait, that's an Alpine in front of him. Yeah, definitely. If Frenchie's going to be putting in a good lap, the last few turns we'll just have to wait and see. He goes a bit wide on that last. Oh, bits.
That was a late call, wasn't it?
I know. That was like a last minute jump.
Just seeing Destroyer Drac 17.6 for his first run. Obviously, we know Destroyer Drac can go much quicker than that. So clearly just testing the waters. Ivy improved by a couple of tenths, or is improving by a couple of tenths through the first sector. Currently on with a 16.2. He's in tier 3 as well, Ivy. So he's really hoping to push the pace as much as he can towards those tier 2 runners, the likes of Woody, EM, Destroyer Jack, of course, William, newly promoted from tier 3 as well. Epic Frenchie, Viking Fox, these are your tier 2 drivers. And the likes of Ivy will hope to push towards. But the Bird, Pesci, Declan, Bolt, Anthony, Merck, Christopher and Hazer, all effectively that tier 1 pace setters. I mean, Anthony isn't a tier 1, but he would be a tier 1 if he was racing on a full-time basis. Let's see what Ivy could do. Up to the line, and it will be a 15.8, a bit of an improvement, but no improvement on track position, and remains P13 rack.
Yeah, I'm just watching Declan now, and he winds up going into the hairpin, and he loses the few corners, but he may improve. Nope, Deck's going into the pits now, but I think he's going in because he locked up quite hard, and he definitely lost his rear end going into the corners. But we'll see how the Bird's doing now, as Bird makes his way around to the hairpin and goes into the last few corners. Bird keeping it nice and tidy. And it looks as if Bird's making his way around. Bird fully making his way around. Will he? 13.9? And he doesn't. He still managed to skip the top spot, but he's still in that 1:13.9. Let's go down and check on Hazer, because Hazer's out. And Hazer is absolutely flying, almost track limits with that corner by the looks of it. Most of his car was over the wire. However, he is just testing the limits here. He's pushing that track limits. And he goes round the last few corners now. Let's see if he can improve his time from the 1:15. Ooh, he goes a bit wide on that corner. He goes round the last corner, and he improves. P4 for Hazer with a 1:14.1. That was absolutely stellar from Hazer.
Yeah, very much so. A brilliant lap by Hazer into that top 4. He was improving by half a second into the middle sector as well, and obviously did pretty much nail down that final sector. So up the order goes Hazer after a few early struggles. He's finally picked up that pace with 5 minutes of qualifying remaining, and he's now pushing towards Bird, Pesci and Declan. Those three all very close together as the Bird gets a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 15 into 16 and is into the pits, and you'd expect him to be joined by Hazer potentially, unless Hazer feels that lap was good enough to keep him in a solid position. Obviously, again, you don't really need to be on pole position because you don't gain an additional point, and with no hard tyres in use, again, we'll keep talking about that because that will be an intriguing strategy choice from all the drivers. But yeah, without the hard tyres, you're going to be wanting to keep your soft tyres in check. Now, we'll just see what Ivy's doing, not anything in particular. What about Epic French? He's still out on track, or again out on track. Currently on with a 15.3, P10 at the moment. He was absolutely flying in Bahrain in tier 2. in his recent event stays in P10 with a 15-1, which is effectively a 15-1 level with Viking Fox there, Viking in 9th, and Epic Frenchie into the top 10. Let's go towards Optimus Prime, not really on a lap either. What about Viking Fox himself? I think Viking Fox is burning the battery through the middle sector, Vac.
Yeah, I'm just watching Viking now, and he's going full send for this lap. And he's improving ever so slightly. However, will it be enough for him to get above Mr. Poem? But if that's the case, he's got a couple of attempts to make up as he's just burning through that battery. And hopefully, as he goes round the last corner, burning through the last of his battery, and he improves ever so slightly, but not enough to catch up to Mr. P. So it looks like he'll be staying in P9. However, two are teammates, so we'll just have to see if they can come together and get themselves a good position in the race. It definitely seems as if the two are quite well acquainted as teammates and they get along quite well. So we'll just have to see if they come up with a race plan for the race, Viva.
Yeah, both very quick drivers there, Mr. Poem and Viking. Obviously, Viking Fox top end tier 2. Mr. Poem a very solid tier 1 driver as well. Former champion from, I think, if I remember right, for champion of season 5. So yeah, very strong pairing there. Optimus Prime did make an error in the middle sector going through the S's as well, so unfortunately he has had to abandon his lap. As for Woody, he's improving by about 2.5 tenths of a second, as Rack has seen something, but Woody 15.3, and it is up to P11 for the Papaya, and the McLaren will be satisfied with his efforts. Merck still in at 7th place as well, so both McLarens doing relatively well as EM starts another run. Let's go further up with not with Viking Fox, obviously just completed a lap. Anthony as well out on circuit, not improving through the first sector into the middle sector through the S's now, and the Ferrari just rounding out on turns 10 and 11. And we'll see if Anthony can bridge the gap to those 5 ahead of him, particularly that top 4 will all close together. The Bird with a 13.9, the only driver with a sub 114 at this moment in time. Is that going to be enough for the Bird to take pole position? But let's see Anthony across the line. It's a 14.4, and he does improve ahead of Bolt, and into the top 5 goes the Ferrari Vac.
Yeah, that was a very close call for Anthony. He had quite a few pluses on the first 2 sectors, but on that last sector, he absolutely buckled down and he managed to get that time down. Oh, cutting the corners now, which is a bit of a strange choice. I mean, I know I know qualifying's coming to an ending, but there's no need to cut corners because that's quite dangerous driving. However, let's go on to another few drivers now. Let's see if they can improve. We've got Merckx now going down straight as he goes down into turn 1 and 2. Now down into 3, and let's see how he's absolutely burning through that back with the DRS. And takes pole with a 113.7. Oh my, an upset on the final quality. Well, let's just see if let's go on board now and see if he can reclaim pole position from Declan. My words, that was an absolute turnaround. However, it seems as if Bird is stuck behind an Aston Martin here. But let's see if he can get past, and let's see if he can improve that lap time. He may be getting a bit of dirty air from the Aston Martin here. I believe that's Pesci in front of him. It's Pesci in front of Bird. This may be a turn here because Pesci may be holding up Bird. But let's just have to. Oh, and it seems Hayes has retired from the session. But we'll just have to see if Bird can get past Pesci, because this definitely seems to be quite a race between the two. But it seems as if Bird may be the faster driver, but he's stuck behind Pesci for the qualifying lap. This is definitely an interesting scenario, Viva.
Yeah, incredible. We're just about to get to the final couple of corners. Will it be Pesci or Bird? Bird is right in behind. Bird to the line. He does not get pole. Declan is on pole position. And the bird narrowly misses out by the finest of margins. And I do believe that he was probably held up a little bit by Pesci, especially through those final corners where he obviously couldn't get the overtake done. So yeah, in the end, the bird can only settle for P2. Still a great starting position, really, given you've got the long run all the way into turn one from the start. But let's have a check on the full grid classification here in qualifying. Once the 10-second countdown ends. Lobby is very lucky with everyone joining and rejoining. Yeah, I think we've had obviously we had Simon earlier on, where his car was just stuck right in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Oh, didn't want me to look at the full classification, so I'll have a look at it in a minute once we get loaded onto the grid. And here we go. Wait for it to allow me to pause the game. Once it allows me to pause the game, I will then do it. I take the assist for that lap, says Kesnate, and that was for his teammate Declan. Let's have a quick brief look at the classification then. So Deck, Bird, Pesci, Hayes. That's your top 4. Bolt 5th, Merck 6th, Anthony in P7, Mr. Poem 8th from Viking Fox in 9th, and Epic Frenchie in that top 10. UFRL Willie Fernandez in P11, Woody P12, EM in 13th, and you've got Ivy, Destroyer Drac, Optimus Prime, Kesonator, and Simon. Destroyer Drac only down in P15. Any surprises for you on that grid, Rack?
Well, I definitely expected Drag to be higher. I mean, he's definitely quite a pacey driver, so for him to be down in P15 is definitely quite a shock. I was definitely expecting him to get at least maybe top 10. So for him to get P15, it must be quite a disappointment for him. But let's hope he can get past a few drivers on the starting line and maybe make his way back up. He did very well in Silverstone last week, so let's just hope he can keep up that form.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll see what he can do. I mean, a very strong tier 2 driver. Yeah, he did well on Monday night in the race at Las Vegas. He did have an unfortunate spin, but he had great pace there. And yeah, all in all, I think Destroyer Jack will be hoping for a strong performance. Kesonator says he nearly put the hards on. Obviously, again, a no hard tyre race, so anybody using the hard tyres will be disqualified, effectively. Lobby is laggy, can barely see the screen without the stuttering. Hmm. I mean, it doesn't look too bad from what I've been seeing. I don't know about you, back, but it doesn't look like
Yeah,
it's
it
been laggy.
seems all right on my end. I'm not having any kind of lagging issues or anything like that.
Yeah. Hence, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see there's maybe I don't know. I don't know if you want to reset your PC or something. Restart the game, maybe, Jack. I don't know if you want to possibly try that. But yeah, on our end, it looks okay. I mean, obviously, you had Simon through turns 1 and 2 was just completely stuck in the middle, but barring that, I don't think there's been any major issues. Let's have a little look. I'm not sure if the race day lounge has been posted. Oh, it hasn't. Right, let's give 100%. What time should we go? Because I think we've been talking for a couple of minutes now, so we'll say ready up at 20. I think 39 would be pretty fair. And
Yeah, 2030.
yeah, so we'll go 2039. And to give us a bit of fairness, if you need a drink at all, Rack, feel free. Now's the time to do it. I'll just go also for a quick break. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes' time for the start of this Grand Prix.
But yeah, yeah, it definitely seems quite a few of the drivers, which is a bit concerning. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think Simon glitching in, and I was hoping. Yeah, it's like I was watching his car for like a good few minutes. I'm like, what's going on? Oh no!
Well, by the sound of it, I think, to be honest, that's an early failure. We might have to restart
Yeah.
this. It's going to be 5 lights. We're going to wait to see if there's any confirmation from somebody to say it's restarting. I think it may very well be restarting. By the looks of it, some cars are starting slowly at the back. So I'm going to say confirmation. We are going to have a complete restart then. And I hope somebody is able to get the grid for us, because that obviously is an unreasonable restart, because we should not have been going this early. Somebody
Yeah,
has obviously put it up early. So we
Bird
will
on
be,
deck have said restart.
yeah. So I'm going to be quitting out, and everybody else, please feel free to follow. And we will be doing the restart procedure. So at least you will get to see that on the stream. How lovely. Right, let's go with the create lobby, and we'll get everybody in. Hopefully somebody will be able to post the qualifying results fairly early, fingers crossed. And obviously, again, you've got to give a few minutes for people to say. I would guess the only benefit from this that drivers may feel is that they get their soft tyres back.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
they don't get their used soft tyres. But also, drivers who tactically didn't use all of their tyres, that's who I feel sorry for. Because they were doing that in a smart way where you didn't use all the soft tyres and stuff. But now all of a sudden, yeah, it's a bit unreasonable for them. But anyways, let's get the Mexico
It
Grand
was
Prix.
Optimus.
Oh. Obviously qualifying off, but we need to make sure we've got the grid. But somebody needs to post a grid, please. Clear, realistic.
Hey, alright, just send me an invite.
Yeah, just doing lobby stuff. Right, that's all done. And now let's start sending out the many invitations. Xbox, you can join off me anyway. So if you're on Xbox, feel free to click my name and you will be able to join directly on me. So I sent Rax and Declan. As you can see, Hayes has gone directly on me, and I haven't sent him an invite yet. It's absolutely fine. How many were in the lobby? How many do we have? Like 17 or 18?
17?
Yeah. Who was I on? So Kez can join of me in a wave. No, Simon. Obviously, I'm going to be prioritising the PC or PlayStation players simply because otherwise I wouldn't be able to get them through. Like I can on Xbox, where they can just join directly on me, so it's a lot more different. Keep going down. So you got Merc, Woody, then we get Anthony. Obviously, if somebody's already in and they've received an extra invite, don't worry about it. Maybe just keep hold of that invite in case you ever need it, in fact.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
think anyone's posted the
Qualifying. Yeah, somebody will need to post a qualifying, even if it's in the lounge or something, unless I've seen it somewhere else. Oh, hang on,
hold on. I'll go back in stream and have a look.
I don't know if you'll be able to, mate, because it's on Twitch, isn't it?
You used to be able to before. Why have they changed it?
Because it's not like YouTube, innit? On YouTube, you can.
No, that's the thing, is you used to be able to on Twitch as well, but for some reason they've changed it so you can't now.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to remember. So I know Declan was on poll. I know that for sure.
Yeah. Deck. Yeah,
And
so
Bird.
top 3 were Deck, Bird, and Pesci.
Yeah. So I need Pesci to join. And then Hazer would have been nice there. I know Jack was low. Oh yeah, I've got to get Jack an invite because otherwise he won't be able to join. Unfortunately not Black Panther. You wouldn't be able to. Why ain't people showing online? That's frustrating. I've not got Pesci online and I've not got Drac online, so I'm just gonna get Drac. And let's see if I can find Pesci unless somebody else can invite him first. Let's find out. He must be on this side. Nope, he's not on this side. Pesci, you have to show online, mate. Otherwise, guess what? I won't be able to get you an invite. You see how many names I've got? This is how it goes when I'm trying to find people. So many names to go through. There you go, Pesci. Yeah, if you don't post the quality results, we might be starting in a reverse grid order. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
That'd make for an interesting
Yeah, and then
race.
they'll be like, "Oh, why didn't you do it in the right order?" Well, nobody posted it, so you know. But first you can
Obviously,
go up.
what I've put in the chat for someone to post the quali results. So
Yeah, all good, all good. I think Ivy was a little bit further down. I know Simon was last. I know that.
yeah, Simon was
Anthony
last.
was like Anthony was P7, I think, if I remember
Yeah,
right. Kez would have been lower. Mr.
Kez was above
P.
Simon and all that.
She was lower. Bolt was higher.
Oh wait, hold on. I think I've got quali results. I think he's posting them now.
Cool. I just need a couple more people in. But Merc's got to join. See if I can get Merc an invite. There you go.
Oh, so once Bird posts once Bird posts quali results, I'll read them out.
Cool, cool. Right. Oh, somebody's there. And the 14. Oh, there you go. Right, Merc's in now. I think it was that. But that was the top 9 done. Then was it Epic Frenchy P10?
Yep,
I want
there
to
we
say.
go. So we've got Deck P1, Bird P2, Pesci P3, Azer P4.
Let's go. I got the. Oh, wait. Yeah, I got the top 10 of him. Perfect.
Yeah, so Rusted Bolt P5, Mercs P6,
Yeah,
Anthony P7, Mr. P8, Viking Fox P9, Epic Frenchie 10th,
yeah.
William 11th, Woody in 12th, EM in 13th,
I know.
Ivy in 14th.
I think it was that because we were saying Drac was P15, so it would be Kez P16,
Yeah,
Simon P7. Wait, we had
yeah,
18
yeah.
people in quaddy. We didn't have 17. We had 18 because Simon
What?
was 18.
Ah, yeah.
So
Well,
one
we know
person.
Drac was P15.
Yeah, but then
Pesci was
whoever's not in
not
the lobby.
Pesci. Kez was P17.
Yeah, and Simon was P18. So it's whoever was P16 that's not here now. And who was P16, you may ask? I don't remember. There's 18 drivers. How are we going to remember every single one? Let's see if we can find them. That's why people, you don't ready up early because it causes problems. Especially in a 100% race. That's the worst thing you can do. I can't lie.
Because otherwise the race goes on for.
Yeah, it's going to take ages now. Right, let's have a look. According to the standings.
Oh, you've got Wizard
18th.
Rex asking how it's going.
Yeah, going okay, Wizard. Going okay, that's for sure. Just waiting on one driver, I think, to join. Unless it's Worcester Grid. But I feel like we had one more driver. I'm pretty certain we had 18. Obviously, I will set that.
Yeah,
Wasn't Jack in front of you? Yes, he was, Kaz. No Black Panther, unfortunately, mate. Just a bit too late. If you had asked, what time is it now? If you had asked about an hour and a half ago or something, and yeah, you would have been able to. Did the number go from 16 to 17 just a minute ago? That would mean somebody dropped out. Yeah, William. William, you're lucky that I caught on that, otherwise you would not be starting in your good position. People leave the lobby and then join just before, then all of a sudden it resets their good position, so they actually drop to last place. There you go, that's 18 now, so who was the last one?
there we go.
So who was the 18th? Let's see, it was Optimus Prime, there you go, so that'll be Optimus
That's
Prime
it.
P16. Was that correct? Was it Optimus Prime P16 or 7? I think he was 16th there.
Optimus was P16. Pesci was not Pesci. Why do I keep saying Pesci? Kez was P17.
Cool,
Jesus
wicked.
Christ.
So I want to double check all the grid positions before we go. So yeah, have you got the grid up? Yeah, from what was sent in the lounge. I think who was it? Was Bird sent it? Yeah, have you got it up? Yeah. So I want to make sure all the positions are correct. So I want to go through them again just one final time before we definitely get underway.
Yep.
So Declan P1,
Yep.
then the Bird,
Yep.
and Pesci,
Yep.
Hazer,
Yep.
Rusted Bolt,
Yep.
Merc,
Yep.
uh, Anthony, I'll call him Anthony,
Yep.
Mr. Poem,
Yep.
Viking Fox,
Yep.
Epic Frenchy,
Yep.
William,
Yep.
Woody,
Yep.
EM,
Yep.
Ivy,
Yep.
Destroyer Jack,
Yep.
Optimus Prime,
Yep.
Kerzinator,
Kezinet, and then
and
Simon.
Simon. Perfect. Right. So that is that. I'm just going to double check all the other lobby settings, make sure they're all okay. That's fine. That's maybe just in case we increase that a little bit, not too much though, because obviously it is a mixed tier after all, so you can't have the AI too high. Obviously we're not doing quaddy. Clear race, that's all fine. Strict, increase safety car, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's all fine. Right, we can go, but please make sure you do not ready up early again, because otherwise we can't really
Please no
afford to have all
early.
these restarts.
Please no red. Please no early red. Not mentioning it. Any names. Optimus.
Yeah, feel like that's a bit of a prime response personally, but yeah.
Yeah.
Ready up. I think we'll have to give the 5 minutes again. 5 minutes until we go. So I'm going to say we can go probably about 20:55. I'd say that. There you go. Ready up,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the
2055.
day, even if it's not the full 5 minutes they're taking, let's be honest, they took about 3 minutes anyway. So yeah.
Yeah.
Just obviously make sure you've all got your setups on, especially if you're listening on a stream. Make sure you get your setups. Make sure you don't start on hard tires. Make sure you do your fuel, etc., etc. Those are the key things for the race. But now we can get underway in 5 minutes' time, obviously. So yeah, let's see what can happen. One thing I hope doesn't happen is we have to do either the restart or somebody readies up and we just have to roll with it. Fingers crossed we don't have to do that. Because even if that were to happen and we had to roll with it, the race might not count. So let's not waste anybody's time, effectively. All the 18 drivers, obviously myself and Vac, all looking forward to this one, and all of you viewers as well. No hard tyres again, just a reminder. Sadly, yes, Black Panther. I didn't up until now. That I was. Oh, okay. But yeah, if you can race next week if you sign up for it, of course. Obviously on Friday, 8 o'clock p.m. I'll check the track for next week as well, whilst I'm at it. So next week is the Japanese Grand Prix. So if you want to race at Japan next week on Friday, feel free to sign up as a reserve. Obviously, when the attendance comes out. If you want to join a league as well, I did send a couple of links in earlier. I will just resend them now. Obviously, just before we can get underway. Let me do one in the Twitch first. Yes, to both Anthony and to Hazer in the TikTok. And now let's get one into the Twitch. Yes, I know what I can do on Twitch. Thank you. Right. Let's post that. So if anybody wants to join, I've just posted the links into both the Twitch and the TikTok. And we will be getting underway in about 4 minutes from now. Hopefully, nobody slips a finger and readies up. What do you think, Vac? Do you think they will?
Hopefully not, because otherwise you're going to have to go through the pain of setting all this up again.
I don't think we would.
Which will do.
It'll be too late after that because obviously it's 100%
Oh, yeah.
race distance as well.
Yeah, that's true. So if that's the case, I think people would just have to deal with it, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, hopefully all the drivers can get their setups on. I mean, they've got plenty of time to do so. Get your fuel sorted out. knowing that there might be some safety cars as well. I'm going to be honest, safety car chances are probably high, especially when you've got to consider that you can't use the hard tyres, so you're going to be trying to extend the soft tyres as much as you can and the medium tyres as much as you can. So more than likely you're going to be prone to the odd error here and there. Obviously, if there's an incident, that may very well be a safety car as well. But I think we'd prefer full safeties, especially a couple. A couple of full safety cars would be preferable to just a virtual safety cars, because virtual safety cars don't really help to balance the grid up. If anything, it helps out those who are probably leading the race. Because if they want to go for that pit stop, then obviously they can. Good evening, Wovana. Eventful start before the start so far. It certainly is, Wovana. It certainly is. But yes, I'll be back on in just a minute's time before we get started for this Mexican Grand Prix.
I've got my trusty Vimto here with me. Yeah. No, I must say it should definitely be multiple people to ready up. Yeah, yeah. That's horrible game design.
Hey, wake your ass up. Let's go. It's race time.
Right, and we are back here, and we will be getting underway in just a couple of moments. Just seeing on the chats, good evening to Woody. Hope everyone is excited. Rack, yes. Kezonator says nope. Well, we'll see how it goes. Just about to post the message into the racing lounge. As soon as it hits 55, I will send it in there. That 55 is taking ages. Oh, there you go. Boom, it's hit 55 and the ready up message has now been sent out. And all the drivers will be getting anxious to kickstart this event here at the Mexican Grand Prix. I do wonder what the tyre situation is going to be as well. Obviously got to factor in. It will either be the softs or the medium compound for the start of this event. But yeah, a lot to look forward to. And here we go. The countdown has begun. Myself joined by my co-commentator for this evening, that Trash Rack. We are looking forward to this event. This is UFRL where the lights have begun. It's 4 and 5 red lights here at the Mexican Grand Prix. And go, go, go! Declan gets a strong start out in front of the Ferrari of Anthony, flying up the order, pushing through on the Mercedes as well, Hazer. But Declan, is he going to hold on to the lead, heading all the way to turn 1? Yeah, under threat and under pressure from Pesci. Pesci goes through, and Pesci takes the lead. The Bird fighting and scrapping with Anthony at the start of the Grand Prix, and the Bird seems to have preserved P3. But Anthony is really looking robust on those soft tyres to kickstart this event. And Merck and Hazer having a look, certainly on Anthony. Just missing out there. A bit of contact further back between Ivy and Optimus Prime. And you've also got EM involved in that. So that trio losing out as Rusted Bolt continues his battle with Merck and is up into the top 6. And also Bird through on Declan and rising up into second place, but Pesci is cruising out in front back.
Yeah, it's definitely out for Pesci. He just absolutely booed it off the back of the grid. There's been definitely quite a mix-up. I noticed that Drax drops down to last place for quite a few moments, but after collision with drivers there, he managed to get himself back up to P14, so hopefully Drax can start rebuilding here. He's definitely my driver to this race, so here's, and I've got fingers crossed for him. Let's see if he can get himself back up further up the grid, Beaver.
Yes, certainly up to the case at the moment, tracking to P14. Simon, the biggest gainer on lap 1, up into P11, 7 places gained for the Ferrari. And Kesenator up to P12 ahead of Willie Fernandez. Kesenator making moves on lap 1. Hazer, meanwhile, overtaking Declan, but Anthony goes round Declan. Declan has lost 4 places on those mediums on the start, so Hazer and Anthony have pulled through. Pesci is still clear at the front. We'll have a look at the tyre situation. Pesci's on the soft. Bird has opted for the mediums. Hazer and Anthony on soft. And then Simon, who has been the biggest gainer so far, has also gone for the soft compound tyre. Anything interesting that you feel from these tyre decisions effectively, Zach?
Well, I've noticed that a lot of guys got medium here, but there's definitely a few drivers that have got softs, and they seem to be the drivers that are taking off the quickest so far in his first few laps. However, I think that's come back to bite them in the long run. They're going to have to pit sooner than the rest of the grid, and that might drop them back by quite a bit. But we shall wait and see.
Ooh.
And Declan's retired! Declan's retired from the race! It seems as if he may have had a crash. That is absolutely fortunate for Declan. He gets a pole position, but he doesn't finish the race. He crashes himself. That is absolutely mind-blowing and absolutely heartbreaking for Declan, Viva.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Retiring in the pits after lap 2. I mean, what a decision from him. Kesenator losing out to Drac and Woody. He did actually make a mistake going through the final few corners into Sector 3 as well. So that's why Kesenator has ended up dropping a few places after such a promising start. He's still up there at P14, but he's also the first driver to receive a time penalty. But still, EM, Ivy and Optimus Prime are all still behind Kesenator. So he is actually having a very strong race so far. Hazer, meanwhile, on the rear of Anthony again. But Pesci and the Bird really are running away at the stage of the race. But when will the Bird's medium tyres get into the event? Deck saying, oh, he did not have a setup. We were saying get your setups on. Apparently even Deck said he forgot after saying it. Yeah, so Deck did not have a setup on, hence why he has retired from the race. So that is not ideal for Deck and for Kit Sauber's chances here. Zach.
Deck, I posted in chat, man. Come on.
Yeah, he said that himself as well. Forgot after saying, didn't I? Oh no. Well, there's always next week at Japan then. Hopefully that'll go better for you. It can't go much worse, retiring after lap 2, of course. Let's stick on with Merkman, just behind Mr. Poem. 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second. Mr. Poem has had a decent start to the race as well. We have a look at the position changes, up 2 spots now, Poem. That's Kesenator with another 3 seconds. That's 6 seconds already inside 4 laps. And Optimus Prime also receiving his first time penalty. So a couple of penalties are racking up here. But we really do await for those first pit stops, because that may very well be crucial for the race. Destroyer Drac, meanwhile, trying to go for a move, going through on Simon and also overtaking or trying to overtake Woody. We are just going to get Simon back into the event, so we may just miss an overtake or two. I think Drax will go for the first one. Let's give Simon an invite, but we can't give Simon more than 3 invites, so this is the first invite, Simon. You've got to try and keep it together, mate. But yeah, you can get back in. Simon, though, overtaking Woody on the straight, even though he's not in the session, but now Woody has got back through, of course he has. EM, Kesenator, and now Ivy going wild here, going for a 3-way split. And all of a sudden into Sector 1, Kesenator under a bit of pressure now from the Williams of his Tier 3 rival Ivy. And Ivy going for the move down the inside into Turn 4. And he makes the move successful, albeit riding the curb slightly. And Kesenator fights back.
That's contact.
Go on, Kes. Go on, Kes. He's fighting. He's squabbling. And Kesenator, has he done it? And Ivy is still there on the inside. They are side by side. Kesenator makes the move. That has got to be his best move yet in UFRL by Kesenator. That was absolutely superb. Ivy's going to fight this one back. Didn't think I'll be doing commentary like this over P15, but they are still going side by side. Ivy on the inside, Kesenate around the outside. Ivy powers through and just about edges ahead. What a battle that was, Rack.
That was an absolute scrap there, but there was quite a few bits of contact between the two drivers there. It definitely seems like Ivy might have picked up a bit of damage from Kesenate, so we'll have to wait and see the race. But yeah, that was really one hell of a battle. But as we go back up into the mid-table, I'm noticing quite a few position changes here, especially between Mr. Poem, Bolt and Merck. Three of them are tip for tip between the three of them. They are, but as Bolt is right on Mr. P's tail, and he keeps trying to go for the overtake, but he just can't seem to find the right timing. However, he may have the right timing once they get up to the straight with DRS on. So we'll just have to wait and see. This is going to be one hell of an interesting race, especially as we've mentioned quite a few times before, with no.
Yeah, certainly looks that way, as was just cut off just a second ago. But yeah, Rusty Bolt still there with Merck and obviously Mr. Poem ahead. Poem is now caught up to the battle between Hayes and Anthony as Willie Fernandez receives his first 3-second time penalty in the Bird on those mediums, going quickest at 1:17.2. Does the Bird look like he's going to go on for the victory, having just obviously got through on Pesci and now leading the way? So Pesci with a lot of work to do. Anthony now overtaking Hazer and into that top three. Merkel's are fighting through, and Rusted Bolt, who was just dropped down to P7. And this battle continues to arise between Anthony Hazer, Poem, Merck and Rusted Bolt. All of them trying to push the likes of Bird and Pesci all the way. And also Declan, obviously, was out of the Grand Prix. Those are your drivers to really watch in terms of fighting for victories and podiums this season. Will we get a surprise runner in terms of a podium? I do wonder. Maybe a tier 2 or a development tier driver, or even Destroyer Jack, the reigning development tier champion, of course, now in the elite tier. So what can Jack do? He has made his way up into the top 10 ahead of both Willie Fernandez and Woodies, and moved down the inside, or down the outside rather, from Anthony, just to fend off Hazer, who was just sickened ahead of Mr. Poem. That five-way battle continuing to heat up, Zach.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to heat up quite a bit. I can imagine microphones of the drivers. Expletives, I'll definitely say that. But Mr. Poem is right on the tail of Hazer. Moving P4 and get up against Hazer, but can he hold off? Mr. Poem with the double overtake going down the. Mr. Poem showing his skill and his experience here in and it seems Hazer is losing quite a lot of decisions now as well. It doesn't seem to be quite the good qualifying as he toe-to-toe with Merckx. This is definitely going to be quite a challenging race for Hazer here tonight, Viva.
Yeah, all continuing to have their squabbles there, Merck and Hazer. Oh, just a couple of corners ago, in fact, Hazer had just ran a bit wide and Merck was therefore pushed off track as a result on the exit of turn 3. But all of a sudden, Hazer back ahead of Merck, but they are outside of the 1 second window for DRS now. Rusted Bolt does overtake Anthony up into 4th place. I wonder now if those medium tyres are already beginning to outweigh the soft tyres at this moment in time, because the likes of Poem and Bolt, they're making moves. Merck looks like he's going to get a move done as well. We're just going to go on board with him as he's going for the overtake on Hazer. Hazer will not have DRS. Or will he? Yes, he will. So Hazer somehow has gotten that DRS, obviously getting it through the activation point on Anthony. So Hazer very fortunate to still be within a second, even though he was not within a second going down the main pit straight, but he does stay ahead of Merck for the time being, and both are now within that 1 second window. But here comes Merck going for the move round the outside, leading into turn 4. Can he get it done? Can he get it delivered here on the inside line? Now they are really fighting tooth and nail, but Merck powers on and he's into the top 6, albeit 1 second back from Anthony Rack.
Yeah, it looks like Hazer wanted to try and go for the switchback there, but there just wasn't enough space for him to get get alongside Merckx again. But it's definitely a long battle. Quite a lot of drivers here. We've got Drac in 10th, who's just quite a far gap behind Frenchie, but hopefully he can pick up the pace a little bit, especially since he's got the McLaren on his tail with the Alpine far behind. So I definitely think Drag's got his work cut out for him. EM's not far behind. Ivy, bless his heart, he is trying his best, but he's quite a way back. It seems the Tier 3 drivers are definitely struggling with Mexico here tonight. And Hazer, what is going on with Hazer? Oh, he's pitted. Hazer has pitted for the medium tyres. It seems that Hazer was struggling on the tyres he had, so he's just pit. But in my opinion, I don't think that was a smart move for Hazer. He's dropped back quite a bit as he's come out behind Kez. It's definitely a battle up at the top, and it's Mr. Poem in P2, and Pesci dropping down to P4 as Rusted Bolt takes P3 from Pesci. What an absolute battle in the top 4, Viva.
Yeah, and Pesci also cutting the corner. Those soft tyres are really struggling here. It's only lap 10 as well. Pesci does not seem to have any damage. It's just that those soft tyres have gone on for too long. They are very worn now. 10 laps full of soft tyres, and this is the damage, as you can see, that Pesci has been losing so much time now to those ahead of him. Even Mr. Poem and Rusted Bolt have managed to get through. Pesci may very well be about to pit. He stays out for another lap here, and I think he's going to lose out to Merck. Merck has got to get past the Aston Martin down the long straight into turn 1, and he is going to go for it. Bolt going through on Poem, and here comes Merck on the inside line on Pesci. Don't forget though, the likes of Bolt, Poem, Merck will all have to use those same soft tyres that Pesci has used as well. So he's going to be they are going to be in a very similar predicament here. Woody Fernandez, meanwhile, going for the moves on Woody and up into the top 10. Destroyer Jack in P9 just ahead of them. But yeah, Woody Fernandez getting his way through on Woody, Arvak.
Yeah, it seems Williams definitely trying to pick up the pace here after not so great start at the GP. And it seems Drac once again definitely has his work cut out for him. However, he's closing the gap to Frenchie bit by bit. It definitely seems like he might be catching up to Frenchie within the next few laps. And well, here's hoping for Drac because I'm rooting for him this race. I know as commentators, we're not supposed to have any bias, but I've always liked Drac. He's always been quite a chill guy as a racer. He's definitely proven his craft over the time he's been in the league. I remember when he started out in T3, he definitely had a steep learning curve to get used to. And over the time, he's found his style, he's adapted, and he's definitely proven himself as he's moved up into the elite and also moved up into Tier 2. So let's just go. And Pesci's now in the pits as those soft tyres have finally given him enough grief. And he's now onto the medium, so let's see how he copes on the medium tyres. Maybe he can crawl his way back up to the top, especially since all the cars are on some older tyres here. But let's see how Anthony's doing on the 11 lap old softs. He seems to be doing okay for himself since he's up in P5. However, he may be in the same predicament as Pesci very soon. Those tyres may start giving him some grief and he may start going back because he's got Viking Fox on his tail and Viking seems to be catching up quite a bit. However, let's just see how it goes for Anthony in the Ferrari. Let's just hope those softs don't start giving him grief anytime soon, Viva.
Yeah, we just saw Pesci as well come out of the pits just behind Hazer. But obviously he does have a couple of laps fresher tyres now, so those two can effectively work in tandem here. P13 for Hazer, P14 on Pesci, but finally getting onto the fresh mediums and getting rid of their worn softs. But yeah, the likes of Bird, obviously was dominating this race so far, but also Bolt, Poem, Merck, these drivers will all be thinking and seeing how much Pesci was struggling through the back end of that opening stint, and we'll know that those soft tyres are not particularly useful at this circuit. So how long will they go when they eventually pit? Speaking of pitting, Anthony is in, which is a bit of a surprise. Did he not start on the mediums? Let's have a look.
Oh, he started on the softs.
Oh, he did start on softs. Okay, so Anthony's gone longer. Okay, interesting call from Anthony. Obviously, he will come out behind both Hazer and Pesci by a fair distance as well, but it's got P14 and it's got a lot of free air, or clear air ahead of him. So Hazer, meanwhile, overtaking Ivy. Could that be a problem for Pesci? Or is Pesci going to get straight through on Ivy? He's going to have DRS as well. He's going to really have to fight this one. And he will go for the move on Ivy. On the inside line, Pesci goes on Ivy. Is he going to get the move into turn 4? Yes, he is. And Pesci now continuing to follow through with Hazer, both in the top 12 now. We'll just have a little brief look further up the field and towards those drivers battling for the podium. Rusted Bolt, Mr. Poem and Merck. Mr. Poem seems to be losing a bit of time to Rusted Bolt ahead. He is about a second behind now. Did he get a DRS out of turn 15 into 16? This will be the tail for him. And it doesn't look like he's got particularly great pace at this moment. They both do have DRS. Merck is getting through on Mr. Poem and up into third place. Now they can start to close the gap a little bit more on Rusted Bolt. Ivy receives a time penalty, but yeah, Merck there just getting through on Mr. Poem. And Epic Frenchie also bypassing Viking Fox Rack.
Yeah, there's definitely seems to be quite a few switch-ups here, but as we get into the race, it definitely seems the medium tyres starting to have their wear on the drivers now. It definitely seems as if quite a few drivers are quite a bit of time. Mr. Poem and Viking Fox seem to be the two drivers that seem to be starting to struggle on the mediums. So he's hoping that maybe they'll pit soon, or maybe they can find a way to keep their groove with the tyres. However, we've got Drac in P7 now. Drac slowly climbing the ranks as he's behind Viking Fox with a 1.7 gap. It's definitely seeming to be a good race for Drac so far. However, he's got the Alpine William right on his tail, so hopefully Drac can keep that P7 from William, and maybe sooner or later can develop that gap quite a bit, as Drac's line seems to be a bit all over the place at the moment. I think he might be struggling on the tyres now, but Pesci now moving into P10, and Pesci gets a time penalty. However, he did cut the corner quite a bit. I was watching Pesci as he went around the corner, and he did cut it quite a bit. So I think that's definitely a correct time for penalty for Pesci. However, as we move further in, we've got William overtaking Drac, and we had an overtake further down the table, and it's Hazer making them EM, and it's very close contact between Pesci and him. Very close call between the two drivers as Pesci gets the overtake on Hazer. It was very close between the two drivers there. Their wheels almost touching, and it seems we've got a caution in Sector 1, and it's a virtual safety car, and it's Drac. Drac has maybe had some contact, or maybe even spun the car. It's a virtual safety car on the track now.
Oh, was just cut out there as well. But yeah, Destroyer Drac has had a spin, it seems, out of turn 6, so therefore Destroyer Drac will have to repair that wing, and it is only a virtual safety car, so it is unfortunate for Destroyer Drac, but it does offer the Bird an easy opportunity to make a pit stop, and Merck also getting rid of his medium tyres, as is Mr. Poem. So a few pit stops being formed here under this virtual safety car, and that allows for Rusted Bolt to take the lead on his worn medium tyres. Let's have a little look towards Bird. He's out of the pit, and look how close that gap is already. It's down to just 7 seconds to Rusted Bolt, and we are back underway then. So DRS enabled, Epic Frenchie, Viking Fox, Woody Fernandez, and then you've got Merck and Mr. Poem, and you've got Woody there as well. And look at this, Mr. Poem and Merck have both got the overcut effectively on Hazer and Pesci as a result of that virtual safety car back.
Yeah, I definitely think quite a smart play from Merck and Poem. As you say, they managed to get the overcut on Pesci and Hazer, which again may definitely play in their favour. However, they are on the soft tyres, so they are going to have to go the shorter distance, so we'll just have to see if this works out for them. However, Bolt with quite a large gap between him and Bird so far, but Bird just seems to be cutting that time down massively, as Bird is definitely one of the fastest drivers in the league. But we'll just have to see if Bolt can fend off Bird from that P1 position. as Bolt is definitely known to be quite a defender, so we'll just have to see how that goes. And we've got Kez making his way up once again, overtaking Optimus. However, I didn't see the overtake, but I can imagine it was quite a move from Pesci, and that's Optimus cutting the track quite a bit. My lord. Optimus just cutting that track by quite a lot. And as so, he gets a time penalty, and that's EM into pits. EM making a pit stop and potentially going on to the soft tyres. We'll have to wait and see here. And no, he stays on the medium tyres. He's not switching to the softs just yet. I think he might be saving that towards the end of the race. However, let's move up further back up the grid, and we've got quite a close battle here between Viking Fox and Frenchie. As the two drivers now, on the tail of the two drivers, gets closer and closer to Viking Fox. However, he may be saying, never mind, he looks to go for it, but changes his mind as they get towards the corner. But can Merc get the overtake on the straight on the V-carb? And it looks as if he's getting closer and closer, and he does not. Never mind, yes, he gets it on the corner. That is an absolute move.
Just getting there, but yeah, brilliant overtake by Merc on Viking Fox. That means Mr. Poem, who has now just got through on his teammate as well, up into the top 5. So both Merc and Mr. Poem making some progress on those tyres here. And Mr. Poem on those softs trying to push his way through. And Merc now going for the move on Epic Frenchie on the inside line on those soft tyres as well. Merc, don't forget, Frenchie just try and fight it back, unable to do so. And now Mr. Poem going for the old switcheroo and going for the overtake on Epic Frenchie and succeeding at that overtake as well. So up into 4th place, Hazer ahead of Willie Fernandez now. And that means that both Pesci and Hazer are still running together and are in the same train that Mr. Poem and Merc are in. So this all goes all the way from 3rd down to 9th here. And here comes Pesci and Hazer. Hazer on the outside of Viking Fox, and he does make his way through. So Viking not defending hard from Pesci and Hazer, who rise up into the top 7 back.
Yeah, Viking Fox is definitely starting to drop back quite a bit, especially since he's on 17 lap tyres. However, that's quite a lock-up out front from Hazer. It looked like there was quite a lot of smoke behind. It's Pesci that's locking up. Pesci's getting quite a few lockups here, despite the fact that he's on new tyres. I think he might have to adjust his brake balance there, because otherwise he's going to end up wrecking the tyres before he can make the distance. He'll end up having to pit again very soon as Hazer gets the overtake on the Epic Frenchie. Both Pesci and Hazer making up slowly but surely. They move into P5 and P6. Soon they'll be catching up to Mr. P and Merc, but we'll have to wait and see. I can definitely imagine this being a four-way battle between a lot of them, and I can definitely see it getting messy. What do you think, Viva?
Yeah, I mean, whether or not there'll be contacts or will remain to be seen, but these drivers are getting quick here. Pesci and Hazer, I think they are trying to work to catch up to Merc and Poem, understanding that that is effectively their battle now. If they do want to get second in this race behind the birds, then they do need to work together. But Merc and Mr. Poem, they'll be feeling the exact same way. But Pesci and Hazer, don't forget, they have experienced those soft tyres, and they will know they will not last particularly long. So they will have confidence that they will catch up to the Papaya and the V-Carb in a few moments. But Anthony now going for the overtake and making the overtake on Woody and up into the top 10 now. Anthony, of course, has already pitted. Woody yet to pit in this Grand Prix. Lap 20 of 71. No hard tyres are allowed, of course. So just softs and just mediums. And it will remain dry for the whole duration of this 71 laps here at the Mexican Grand Prix. Simon into the pit. I'm not sure if he's still in AI or not. Either way, he is into the pits. And Viking Fox going for the move on Epic Frenchie. But he just go a little bit deeper. Could allow for Frenchie to try a little bit of a switchback. But he just get a poor exit. And that could even give Willie Fernandez an opportunity. Mr. Poem overtaking Merc. And up onto the podium goes Mr. Poem back.
Yeah, that was definitely quite a move from Mr. Poem. Definitely playing his cards very patient. And I'm definitely thinking Mr. may eventually stick with that P3, but however, definitely making him work for that podium place. Definitely going to be a battle, but I think it's going to be one hell of a four-way battle. Merck and Pesci eventually catch up, because those two are definitely known to have pace amongst the grid here. And as we've just seen, Optimus has just retired from the session, and by the looks of it, I think hit retirement. I think he's just realised he's racked up quite a few time penalties there. Kind of just disheartened himself from the amount of time penalties he's collected. So I think he's decided to retire from the race. And we've got Hazer and Pesci now battling it out. We've got Merckx and Cohen battling out. Makes his way back up to the P3. This is definitely going to be one hell of a battle, and with Pesci not far behind, this is soon to be a four-way battle. Going to get messy now that the drivers are getting close. This is going to be one hell of a race. Second place down to fifth. What do you think, Hazer?
I don't know what Hazer thinks personally. I mean, I'd love to ask him, but he's racing, so it'll be very difficult to get onto the comms through the Hazer. I know what you meant. Pesci, meanwhile, is right on the rear of Hazer here, 0.2 of a second. Is he going to go for the move? You don't think he will into turn 12, and indeed just stays behind the bird with a fast lap once again at 16.479. Absolutely flying this evening is the Williams. And I don't think anybody is catching him unless we get a safety car. And don't forget, if there's a safety car right now, I think the man in the best position has to be Rusted Bolt. He's not pitted yet, don't forget. So he would have a free strategy of what he wants to do. Everybody else in that top 7 have already pitted, and they may all very well pit again. But then again, with no hard tyres being used, they may all have to think, you know what, I have to just stay out on these tyres. And that could give a massive advantage to Rusted Bolt. So whatever happens, if there's a safety car, and say you're in a position like Rusted Bolt, he's looking good. As a bit of a look-up there from Pesci in a battle with Hazer, and Hazer goes on through, marching on into the top 5 goes the Mercedes then. So Pesci just making a slight mistake there, and allowing his rival to go through, and Hazer now all over the rear of Mr. Poem. And don't forget, Poem and Merck on the softs. Hazer and Pesci are on the medium compound of tyre, and this is where Hazer and Pesci will know they can get through on Mr. Poem. I think what Merck and Mr. Poem need, I think Merck needs to keep Mr. Poem in DRS for as long as possible, and then Poem can try and fight it with Hazer and Pesci if he can. Maybe break up their little DRS stream. We're going to go briefly towards Willie Fernandez around the outside of Viking Fox, and up into 8th place goes William. Both drivers get to pit. Back to Hazer then. Here we go in the slipstream on Mr. Poem. Surely going to make the move here into turn 1. They obviously both have DRS. Poem unable to defend it. Hazer's got the move done on the inside line, and Pesci also having a look. Pesci on the inside of Poem. Now he's going to go for the move, and he holds the line, and he does get the move done. Up into the top 5 goes Pesci. Hazer also up into the top 4. But is Hazer going to have a look at a potential overtake on Merck? He's going for it down the inside. Into turn 4 goes Hazer. Still squabbling, still scrapping. Out turns 5 and into turn 6 now. Hazer on the inside. He has got the move done on Merck and powers his way onto the podium. But now Pesci is gone for the move himself. Pesci on the inside of Merck, going side by side, and may very well have cost him a little bit of time, but Pesci also finds his way through, and both the Mercedes and Aston Martin are into the top 4 and joining forces against the power of Merck and Poem. Good moves there by Hazer and Pesci, Rack.
Yeah, it was definitely one hell of a scrap going into those turns. I know a bit of contact with Mr. Poem. I believe it was from Pesci as they were breaking into turn 1, and it looked as if Pesci had bumped Mr. P's rear quite a bit. I don't think Pesci sustained any damage to his front wing. However, again, I do think it was contact. It definitely looked as if Mr. Poem had pushed from Pesci after that. But we're definitely seeing Pesci keep his pace here as he get up into 3rd place. However, will he be able to catch up to Rusted Bolt? That's another story to tell. It definitely seems as That's another lock from Pesci as he goes into turn. It is just lock after lock for Pesci as he goes through the corner, and I think Hazer may be going to make sooner than we think as he through the S's with the McLaren on his tail. Had a bit of a brain lag there. But yeah, it definitely seems as if the fourth, fifth, and third are definitely going to have one hell of a Pesci locked up again. It is not looking for Pesci on these tyres as Hazer is right on his tail. It is definitely looking to be a challenging race for Pesci this weekend. But we'll just have to wait and see as we're getting close to near enough the halfway point of the race now as 25 and Hazer gets Pesci on the straight from Hazer. That is absolutely amazing as he has the McLaren to worry about tail now. But we'll have to see if Merck can get the overtake on Pesci as they go into the straight few corners. What do you think, Beaver?
Yeah, we just see our Woody getting a move on Epic Frenchie and up into the top 10. But yeah, Hazer and Pesci, I think they're also trying to pull away from Merck and Mr. Poem, not being successful at the moment. I mean, they have pulled away from Poem, but not pulling away from Merck. That can be damaging for Hazer and Pesci's hopes for a podium here. Rusted Bolt still doing very well, I have to say. He's yet to pit in this Grand Prix, of course, yet he has an 11.6 second advantage over Hazer. A very solid gap for Rusted Bolt once he does pit for, you would presume, the soft tyres. But he's gone 26 laps already and is still not pitting. So Rusted Bolt going again for another lap, and he's putting in a solid performance. But let's see here, Pesci, you very well expect him to make the overtake on Hazer down the straight into turn 1. It is a double DRS zone as well into turn 1, and also out of turn 3 into turn 4. So Pesci can get the move done here to turn 1 on Hazer, and you would very much expect it as Hazer pulls to the inside line and allows Pesci to go straight through, and indeed he does. So Pesci back up onto the podium. Merck still sticking in the DRS range as well. We're going to drop down towards Willie Fernandez here, making the overtake on Viking Fox, and William is up into 8th place as Viking Fox tries to go into the slipstream of the Alpine ahead, unable to really do so in terms of giving a headache to the Alpine. Williams stays in P8 as a result, and we'll go back up towards Hazer in our battle for a podium rack.
Yeah, I'm watching Pesci and Hazer right. Although there's hold on, we've got a caution in sector 2 and it's a safety car. There seems to be an incident somewhere, and it's Mr. Poem. Mr. Poem has come off his front wing. That is absolutely shit from Mr. Poem as his tyres are on the 10 line and he's only on the. But it'll definitely seem that Mr. Poem will have to pit and potentially for new tyres as well. It is definitely going to turn the race around a bit as we get safety car, Viva.
Yeah, big loss of front wing there for Poem, but everybody you pretty much expect to pit. And I was saying, don't forget, Rusted Bolt is probably loving or would love a safety car. And guess what? We have got a safety car. This is perfect for Bolt. And he goes on to what looks to be the medium tyres for Bolt. So another set of mediums. That's his second set of the medium compound. So he can only do softs now. If he were to pit. Everybody else has got Pesci, Hazer and Merck. They're going for mediums as well. Bird's going for softs. Very interesting strategies now, because obviously I think you've only got about 4 sets of fresh tyres in this race to use. Softs and mediums, so most likely 2 of each. So this is how interesting it is going to be between them. I'll say that. Do they get their soft tyres back from qualifying as well? If they do, but then we didn't have a qualifying session loaded on, so I don't think they do. So they're still very restricted.
I think they're all fresh tyres. Fresh tyres.
Oh yeah, they are fresh. They are all fresh, but what I mean though is like they're not going to have unlimited choices of tyres. Eventually they will get worn out, especially if you keep getting safety cars. So
yeah,
it's going to be a problem for these drivers, but we're going to see who is the best at sorting out the situation. Just seeing in the chat, Russ will be chuffed. Yes, he is, but he's well happy. Yeah, he must be delighted at this stage. Should he have gone soft though, like the bird? Maybe, just to get rid of them, and then effectively he would get the job done on the mediums, because you only get 2 sets of mediums. I know that's a fact. So 2 sets of the mediums, and then it might be possibly 3 on the softs. Obviously, again, we haven't got qualifying, so whether it's 3 or whether it's 2, I think Deck might actually know how many tyres you get exactly. Our Deck says softs for the end. Warner want to play the flute, but it's so intrusive. Bird has to push hard when safety car ends. Yeah, he does. On the soft tyres, though, he definitely will be able to push hard. I can guarantee that. But now we at least get to see how long can the bird go on those softs, and how long will it take for the bird's softs to wear out. That'll be interesting. Destroyer Jack also pitting. Let's have a look. What does he go for? So in terms of drivers to stay out, EM is staying out on this 11 lap old mediums. He's in P8. Destroyer Jack now going fresh softs, and it will drop or stay in P14. Let's see if these lapped cars. I mean, obviously Simon doesn't matter. I hope the bird's going to let Keznator through. Obviously it is a rule in the league that you have to let lapped cars through. So if you're listening to the stream, Bird, or if anybody's in a call with him, please tell him that he's got to let Keznator go through. Otherwise he'll be getting a penalty. Then again, they're probably thinking, oh, we don't actually want to tell Bird. They're all thinking, actually, you know what? We'll take giving Bird a penalty.
Yeah, we'll let Kez think that he's in P2.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on board with this actually, because it may depend on what penalty Bird gets if he doesn't let him through. Because again, it is a rule, and we did have a penalty for it. I think the first one to get it was Flynn. I think he got a 2 and 2, 2 places and 2 penalty points for it. So that penalty could effectively go to the Bird.
Oh, hold on, Kez was trying to go through there. Birds didn't let him pass by the looks of it.
Yeah, he should let him through. It wouldn't surprise me if Bird's in AI, but also it doesn't really matter. He's just got to let him through. He's got to go off track, and he's not doing that. And because he's not doing that at the moment, he's going to be getting a penalty.
Yeah, that definitely looks like it might be a penalty for Bird here. It looks like Kez is like really trying his best to get through, but I don't think Bird's catching the hints from Kez.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that at the moment, so not ideal, unfortunately for him.
So we'll hopefully going back to racing soon, as Woody quite far back in the grid, and hopefully he'll be able to catch up to the grid soon. But yeah, it's unfortunate for Kez that he's lapped at the moment, but hopefully he can get past Bird soon, and hopefully recatch up to the grid if he does eventually become unlapped. But we'll just have to wait and see for the moment. I definitely think Bird's going to be getting this penalty at the end of the Grand Prix by the looks of it. He doesn't seem to be letting Kez pass whatsoever.
Yeah, this is a pretty much set in stone penalty. So, well, that opens the race up, because obviously we saw how quick the Bird was, and now the safety car's in this lap as well. So effectively, I think the Bird will be getting a 2-place grid drop as a result of this. And because of that, well, the best he can hope for now is a P3 for the Bird, which means Rusted Bolt is your net race leader. He does not have any penalties as well. That also means Merck is fighting for the win. He has no penalties. Mr. Poem is fighting for the win. He has no penalties. These drivers are in a great position. Rusted Bolt, Merck, Mr. Poe, but then you've got Pesci, you've got Hazer, and we are back underway now. So the Bird is obviously going to be clear out in front, and look at the advantage he has got simply because of Keznator in the AI. But the battle for the win is now on between Bolt and Pesci all of a sudden. Pesci now on the inside of Rusted Bolt gets that P2, net P1 effectively now, and he's got through on Rusted Bolt. I mean, it's incredible scenes here. I mean, the Bird, I'm sure he will not be happy when the penalty is announced, but it will be a penalty. I mean, that's dead certain now, unfortunately for the Bird. What do you think at the moment for this restart, Zach? Oh, as we seem to have just lost that, Claire, so I will just go back to getting back on board and we'll hopefully get back in a moment or two. But let's see, as Pesci still ahead of Rusty Bolt, going through the S's now. We'll go directly on board of Rusty Bolt as Keselinator's car is ahead. Obviously, he shouldn't be a lap down, but he is unfortunately a lap down. So again, obviously, it will be a penalty to Bird, but Pesci still sticking ahead of Rusty Bolt for the time being. Obviously, you've got Hazy, you've got Merck, and you've got Anthony all trying to get their way through. Mr. Poem seems to just be struggling to stick with the pace here of this front six. Over a second adrift now as Pesci pulls half a second on Rusty Bolt out in the lead of the Grand Prix rack.
Can you hear me now? Is my mic working?
Can hear you, yep, can hear you.
Alright, cool. So, as I was about to say earlier, it's definitely going to be that penalty for Bird. And as you say, it's definitely going to open the race up by quite a lot, especially with the restart that Pesci and Rusty Bolt had. And it definitely seems we've got some scenes here between Anthony and Merck as Anthony gets out and he just absolutely bolts it down the straight with Merck not far behind. It seems to be more between Bolt and Hazer. That is absolutely amazing here. We've already battles in the top 5 and 6 already. This is going to be absolutely close. And oh, there's contact! There's contact between Anthony and Hazer going down into the S's. And oh my, seem to be any damage that can cause any performance reduction so far. And that's more contact between Hazer and Merck. Oh my gosh. It's definitely a race to the limits here as there's been multiple points of contact between the races. How do you think it will affect the race fever?
Yeah, I mean, not great, not ideal obviously for Hazer, and for Anthony getting involved in a bit of a tangle there. It's actually bringing Mr. Poem a little bit closer, just outside of the 1 second window, but now, all of a sudden, the likes of Hazer and Merck are under a bit of pressure here in trying to stick with the likes of Pesci and Bolt. We have a battle further back, William with Epic Frenchy and EM side by side with Viking. Fox wants to go over the curb as well. So Viking just narrowly losing out to EM. He may be about to take it back, turning on the battery as Epic Frenchy makes a move on Willie Fernandez. And all of a sudden, Ivy, here comes Ivy, he's entered in as a three-way is a spin for the Mercedes of EM. EM has spun, and that's allowed for both Ivy and Viking to go through, Track to go through, and Woody also up into the top 13. But EM has had a spin rack.
Yeah, definitely quite a spin for EM. However, when I joined on at quite possibly the last second, it looked like he may have had contact with another driver, but I think that also may have just been him losing his rear. But we'll have to wait and see if there are any clips submitted after the race. It definitely looked like quite a nasty spin for EM. But let's just move further back up to the pack that he was just with. We've got Woody on the tail of Track, and we've got Ivy absolutely making pace here as he just boots it up towards Viking Fox, and Fox managing to keep himself in the top 10 so far. And it's another battle between Hazer and Anthony as now Merck again. It is just absolute chaos in the top 6 here, soon to be top 7, as Merck gets another overtake on Anthony and Hazer corner. It is going to be an absolute battle here, and it's a 6-way battle, maybe even sooner in the top 7, Viva.
Yeah, Merck firing on all cylinders, breaking into that top 5 ahead of Anthony. Strong move from him, and now he's got Hazer waiting in the wings. Can Merck get another position done? Don't forget you've got Pesci and Bolt still in that podium positions. But can Rusty Bolt get the race win here if he can get through on Pesci? Obviously, he doesn't need to, with Pesci having now 6 seconds of penalties. I will just double check it is 6, and indeed it is 6 seconds for Pesci. Obviously, Hazel on 3, Merck on 6. Merck on 6 all of a sudden, that's pretty rampant from him. Unfortunately, given he was not on any penalties a moment ago, Rusty Bolt making a move on Pesci and up into your net P1. Anthony still in 6th in this, but here comes Merck on the inside of Hazer, and he does break it out there, and Merck into 4th position, but they are still 2 seconds away from Russell Bolt and Pesci. Big gap for them, unfortunately, as we're just on with Hazer here. 2 tenths to Merck, but unfortunately he's not going to recover that position. Anthony's still in the picture as well, maybe looking at a podium himself, with a few drivers in this little battle for P2 and P3, or well, on track P2 and P3, net P1 and P2 of course. They do have some penalties ahead as well, so Anthony's still in a half-decent position, as is Mr. Poem. I mean, he's still outside of that DRS range, of course, and it's going to take him a little bit of time to get back in, if he can get back in. But Mr. Poem, without any penalties, has still got a chance. Pesci and Russell Bolt, what's happened here? Pesci seems to have gone wide. Not sure if you saw that one, Rack.
Yeah, definitely. If Pesci outbraked by quite a bit and he sent himself a bit wide going into that turn. However, I think this may be quite a turnaround for Mr. Poem, especially with all the penalties, and especially with Bird getting that 2-place penalty as well. So this may be a blessing in disguise for Mr. Poem towards the end of the race. And we've got some here as Hazer overtakes, and Bolt is overtaken. He overtakes Hazer, and it is just an absolute turnaround here. Would he overtake Brack? It's just overtake after overtake, and he gets close, and Ivy overtakes Woody, and it's back and forth between the McLaren and the Wood as Ivy goes quite wide out of the turn, and Brack just managing to get the overtake on Ivy. And now tail of Woody, it is just scenes all over the track here, and Woody now with 3-second time penalty. That is a 12-second penalty altogether for Woody. That is unfortunate for the man. However, as we go further back up the grid, we've got more scenes as Hazer and Bolt are going at it, with Hazer not... No, wait, sorry, that's Bolt on Pesci. I'm looking on cars, that's my bad. But it seems Pesci is managing to build a bit of a gap from Bolt, as he manages to get Bolt out of the DRS range by the looks of it. Never mind, it looks like Bolt has the DRS, but catch up to Pesci in time for the turn, and he doesn't. As Pesci locks up going into the turns, but can Bolt catch up to Pesci? Catch him on the next straight with the DRS? We'll have to wait and see as Bolt gets close once again, and he just doesn't get it. It definitely seems to be quite a challenge for Bolt to overtake Pesci here on this track, but we'll just have to see towards the end of the race if Bolt can get the overtake on Pesci as we start to reach the halfway point of the race. How do you think this is going to turn out for Bolt, Vita?
At the moment, it's looking good. I mean, the fact that you're sticking with Pesci, just going to double check on the tyres. Yeah, they're on the same, they're on mediums. So Russell Bolt is really doing a superb job to stick with Pesci, but then to also be escaping from Hazer and Merck. But Hazer and Merck are pulling in Pesci and Russell Bolt. The gap is just over 1 second now, and Hazer almost within DRS range. Unfortunately, he won't get it down this double DRS, so sadly for Hazer, he's not in a position to take it. But maybe Merck can get them back into that DRS range. But here comes Russell Bolt. But it's just a bit too far adrift, so we're going to drop towards Merck on the lead up into turn 1. Yellow flags for Mercedes. I think that might be EM in sector 3, but he's back up and running again. Now we're just watching on with Merck. Viking Fox overtaking William into turn 1 as well, and Ivy on Destroyer Jack. But here comes Merck having a look on the inside and the outside, putting to the outside. Hazer on the inside line, and Hazer just staying ahead, but this is battling, losing them time instead of gaining them time. Merck still looking at an overtake through the double right-handers, and unfortunately for him, still not gaining the position. Running quickly through into the S's at turn 7, 8 and 9, but still hanging in behind as Merck, Rack.
Yeah, he's getting closer and closer, inch by inch, but it just doesn't seem like Merck can get the overtake just yet as they go towards the hairpin. Here's a bumping over the curb quite a bit, and he seems to be losing quite a bit of time to Merck. And he manages to pull away as I think Merck just braked a little too hard to avoid the contact with Hazer there. And it definitely seems as if he's dropped back quite a bit, but he seems to be catching him again on the straight. Gets a DRS. Will Merck be Hazer down the straight? It seems further up ahead, Bolt has managed to overtake Pesci, as once again these two are battling it out, and Pesci right on the tail of Bolt. We'll just have to see how this goes for Pesci here, as these two have just been scrapping it out. These two are like they're like two wild animals each other. It's just back and
Oh,
forth constantly. Oh,
oh, Hazer's had a
what's
spin.
happened
It was
here?
contact. They made contact, and Hazer has had a spin as a result. Heading on the exit of turn 5 into turn 4, out of turn 4 into turn 5. Getting my words mixed up or my numbers mixed up. So Hazer now down into 6th place. So I would like to see that tangle again, I can't lie. Sadly, just got the one view of it. Pesci, meanwhile, on the rear of Rustable again. But you see just how much time all that scrapping was costing Merck and Hazer. I mean, they lost out, and in the end, obviously, Merck is now 5 seconds behind Rustabolt and Pesci. They were just simply fighting far too hard for position when they could have been battling for effectively a podium. Now, all of a sudden, they're barely hanging on to P4, P5, P6. I mean, this is not what they would have been hoping for. Pesci does get through on Bolt and is up into 2nd place, but again, Rusty Bolt is in prime position. He could pretty much just follow Pesci into the pits, even if he wanted to, when Pesci makes his pit stop, of course. And they are gaining time, meanwhile, on the race leader, the Bird, who is on those older, soft tyres. Epic Frenchie going for the overtake on the inside of Viking Fox into turn 1, and he has got the move done. Viking just dropping in behind, getting ever so close on the exit of turns 2 and 3. And now, what about William? Is William going to be in close range? Not quite. And Woody Fernandez just has to stick in behind here. But Viking Fox, though, in P9 Epic Frenchie, doing well in the top 8. We'll just have a little look up the field just again to see if Rusty Bolt can keep within that DRS range on Pesci, who is gaining time, considerable time as well, on the bird rack.
Yeah, I would say it's been cut down to a 1.5 second gap here. And Bolt definitely seems to be keeping close on Pesci. I think he might be using him as a tow until they manage to catch up to the Bird, as that distance is just getting further and further closer in. And it definitely seems as if it's going to be a 3-way battle. However, Bird will have that penalty for not letting Kez through earlier on the safety car. And let's not forget, Pesci also has a 6-second time penalty as well, so it definitely seems as if Rusted Bolt may be going for the win here due to penalties, which again is going to be a secret blessing for Bolt here, as I don't think anyone's aware that the Bird may be getting, well, he will be getting a penalty for not letting Kez through under the safety car, and I definitely think that's going to upset Bird by quite a lot. But unfortunately, it's the rule. Well, he sadly didn't follow that rule, so it's going to be a 2-place penalty and 2 points on his license for the Bird Fever.
Yeah, big one. I do think drivers know about it. I know Pesci knows. I don't know if Rusty Bolt is aware. Obviously, I knew Declan knew about it, so I'm presuming that'll mean his dad, Woody, would also know. You presume the likes of Poem, Merck, Woody Fernandez, I think they might know. So people will know. The word will get around, whether it's because one of them's watching a stream. That's the most likely reason, because it hasn't actually been stated anywhere else. It did actually get stated in the lounge that people were trying to tell Burr to let Kesenator through. So whether or not people have realised that he may be getting a penalty because he didn't let him through, maybe they've realised from the lounge or from the stream. But I do know that some people are certainly aware. Not sure on Rusty Bolt though, that's the issue. Is Rusty Bolt aware of the situation? I'm not certain. I think Pesci is aware, I know that much. But yeah, Pesci there, up into the lead now. Rusty Bolt also going through on Bird, who was dropped down to P3. As things stand, Bird would end up in P5, it looks like, and there are more yellow flags through Sector 1. And we're just going to see there is a 3-way battle going on, it seems, here as well, or a little squabble either way between Woody and Viking Fox. You've got a car just ahead of them, the Red Bull just up the road of Epic Frenchie. But yeah, Woody and Viking just having a bit of a scrap. Woody now up into 9th. Viking Fox dropping into P10. Woody having a good race, actually, in P9. Not making too many errors either, so fairly good on that consistency for Woody. something he has had some struggles with, but I think he's just patching it up now tonight. Certainly having a strong Grand Prix at the moment, Woodies. We are going to go back to the front of the race. Rusty Bolt looking to take the race lead, by the way, for, I think, the first time this evening. But he is staying behind Pesci for the moment, so deciding not to make the overtake back.
Yeah, it definitely seems as if Bird has dropped down quite a bit now, as he's now down in P3. By the looks of it, he may drop down a bit further due to that penalty, maybe looking at P5 here. But as we go further, I noticed that Woody has a 12-second time penalty. However, he's still giving it his all. So I'm definitely going to commend him for that, as he the three-way battle with Frenchie and Viking Fox here. The three of them absolutely going at it, with Ivy definitely not far behind as he tries to catch up to the lot. However, he does have Kez behind him. I think Kez is possibly trying to unlap himself, and Podrak, he is just falling quite far behind. He had such a good start to the race, and unfortunately Drac is just, I think he's just lost his momentum this race, which is unfortunate for him, but we'll just have to wait and see for next week. Hopefully in Japan he can find his momentum in there. And Bolt gets the overtake on Pesci. Bolt is now in first place. Well, let's just see if he can hold on to that P1, especially since Pesci has a time penalty. So let's hope it doesn't matter too much for Bolt there, as once again Pesci does have a 6-second time penalty, and Pesci seems to be locking up quite a bit going into the turns. So we'll have to see if Bolt can build the gap quite a bit and hopefully keep that win. However, we do have the Poem in P6, and he's 3 seconds, well, over 3 seconds away from does have a 6-second time penalty. But, the rear end of Mr. Poem snapping there. I definitely think Mr. Poem's tyres are starting to wear, as his car's starting to slide quite a bit, especially in the faster turns. And that's an overtake from Hazer, overtake from Merckx on Hazer. It definitely seems as if Merckx is trying to work his way back up to the top three. However, there is a 7.5 second gap, so we'll have to see. And that's Hazer with a 3-second time penalty now. That's Hazer with a 6-second and Merckx with a 6-second. So it looks as if the two are going to be tied, and it seems Bird has gone into the pit in medium tyres. What do you think is the play here from Bird, Viva?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the stage he might be thinking, see if I can get to the end. He might have seen what Rusty Bolt did on that first stint as well. Don't forget that Rusty Bolt was waiting all the way until that safety car arrived, until we opted to pit. And it does look like the perfect strategy. We were watching there, Hazer and Merck were having a bit of a battle. Hazer actually went off track through the S's, hence why he is almost 2 seconds behind Merck now, so we lost a lot of time through the S's as a result of going off track, and that's how Merck got ahead of the Mercedes. Bird, though, getting through on Woody, his first overtake completed, and now he's up into P6. Not his first overtake of the race, of course, although it may seem like it, given he was, of course, leading the Grand Prix for such a long time. But he did actually have to get overtakes done, in particular on Pesci, possibly Hazer as well. So yeah, he has needed to get overtakes done, but the Bird back up into the top 6. We're going to go on with the race leaders here. Rusty Bolt, your net race leader as well, and he's going to go for the overtake on Pesci into turn 1, as he not really using a lot of his battery. Pesci staying on the racing line as well, perhaps making things a little bit more uncomfortable here for Bolt. Pesci, I think he's just trying to think, how can he get Rusty Bolt to either A, get a penalty, or B, make a mistake? The only alternative could be that Pesci needs to do some form of undercut to get Bolt away. I'm not certain if the overcut will work, especially given how strong Rusty Bolt has been this evening at his strategies. Although I say that, Pesci did just briefly go slightly wide of the mark, but no damage done. He sticks in behind Rusty Bolt. I do wonder if he picks up a warning or not, though. We are going to drop back towards Woody in P8 in his battle with Viking Fox. Let's say a 4-way battle here. Viking, Woody, Epic Frenchie, and Willie Fernandez. And you were mentioning Destroyer Jack earlier, down in P12. I do wonder if he's still got his unfortunate issues at the moment when it comes to those little, maybe lag or something was happening from Destroyer Jack's screen. But unfortunately for him, it's not the same for us guys, or fortunately. Fortunately for us, unfortunate for Destroyer Jack, that's how I'd say it. But yes, Viking Fox for now, just staying ahead of Woody. We're going to go back to the race leaders rack.
Yeah, as we're switching back up, it definitely seems as if Bolt and Pesci are once again going at it. And Kez with another time penalty. That's 30 seconds in total for Kez. The poor lads just can't stop picking up penalties. However, as we watch the top two here, it definitely seems to be quite the battle as Pesci, for some reason, had DRS despite being in front of Bolt. And yeah, it definitely seems as if it's going to be quite a close battle between the top two as we go with Hazer and Merck, both of them quite a distance away each other. Hopefully, Hazer catch up as they both 6-second time penalties. And let's go down towards the mid-table here as we've got Fox, Buddy, Frenchie, and Willie Fernandez, all within close distance of each other. And once again, it might be a four-way battle very soon as they all make their way and down towards the straight. And that's Woody that goes. Woody went slightly off track, and Willie getting the overtake on Woody, and it's Pesci and Bolt again going at it as Bolt gets the overtake going down the straight, and Pesci just locked up like mad going into the turns. Do you think Pesci might have a bit of a brake problem, or definitely a tyre problem by the looks of it, Fever?
I just think it's a complete skill issue. No, I'm joking. I think the issue for Pesci, I think no, not really an issue. He likes to go hot into those corners. I don't think for him it's an issue at all. I think it's his driving style. It's what he likes to do best, and it's how he feels comfortable on the edge and at the limit. But that's how Pesci likes to drive, and he likes to push it as hard as possible, as long as he doesn't get into anybody's way, of course, when he does that. Certainly not on a qualifying lap anyway. But Pesci here behind Rusty Bolt at 0.3 of a second, and it is still a close running thing at the moment for Pesci, as a little bit of a look up there from Rusty Bolt as well, goes quite deep into the corner, so there's no doubt that Pesci will get the overtake done before turn one, simply because the gap is so marginal between the two drivers. He'll be lucky to finish, says Sneaky Turtle regarding the bird. Well, I think he will finish. Even if he needs to go for another set of softs at the end, he will finish the race. It's just whether or not he can keep those tyres in check. But he's not really... He's not in an amazing position here, the bird. You would have probably thought after such a dominant first stint, he would be doing better than what he's currently doing. But he's really not. And Rusty Bolt, don't forget, he's only stopped once in this race. And he's still there with Pesci. Obviously, I know he pitted under the safety car, but he's done an incredible job to only stop once and be leading this Grand Prix. The bird still leading now. Well, I say that, overtaking Mr. Poem, not leading, but leading that battle. Now ahead of Poem into the top 5, and is trying to track down Hazelback.
Yeah, the bird is definitely trying his best to make his way back up to first place. He's definitely got the pace, but unfortunately had the luck this race. During the safety car, as we've said quite a few times, he's definitely going to get that penalty, which is definitely going to knock him down a few places and definitely get him those penalty points. Everyone in the circuit atting him like crazy, telling him to get out of the way of Kez. But judging by the looks of it, he doesn't have his Discord on during the race in case of any race notifications or anything like that. So I definitely think this is an error on the bird's end here, and I definitely think it's a to maybe have your Discord open on the side in case of race notifications. However, if we go back up to the top here, we've got Bolt and Pesci going at it again with Hazer not I say not far behind, there's a 13-second gap. But we've got Hazer not far behind with 3 seconds, hopefully bringing that gap down very soon. And we've got another battle in the four-way in the mid-table with Fox and William. And oh my word, it was close there for a second as Woody tries to go for the overtake on Frenchie as they go side by side. And it was very close there. Oh, yellow. That's a yellow flag. It's EM. EM has gone off the track. It looks like he's rear and he slipped off of the track. That is absolutely unfortunate for EM there, as he has the McLaren of Merckx by the looks of it right behind him. And that is just absolutely heartbreaking for EM. He was doing so well at the start of the race, but now it just seems like he's lost his rhythm completely. Poor lads just can't seem to keep his car on the track. Either that or when he gets into a battle, he seems to be getting pushed wide quite a bit. So I definitely think this has been a race to forget for EM tonight. It's definitely been a lot of tough luck from Viva.
Yeah, he certainly had some struggles. I think obviously ahead of Kesnate and ahead of the AI of Simon, but 40 seconds back from Ivy. EM is a tier 2 and he's a very decent tier 2 driver. I mean, did he get pole? Well, I think he missed out. He got P2 at Bahrain on Tuesday night, literally 3 days ago. Got P2 in qualifying at Bahrain. Sadly, in that race, he also got a few disconnections. He hasn't actually been disconnected tonight, which is great news, as there are yellow flags. And it is for Woody in the McLaren, the Papaya, just going off round turns 1 and 2 and 3. But Woody back underway. Destroyer Jack pitting and onto the mediums, and he will look to go to the end. We got more yellow flags. It may very well have been EM again. Really is struggling at this moment in time, as he is just trying to keep it within track limits. Moves being made. Anthony and Viking Fox have a bit of contact going into the S's, and Anthony has got ahead here. Going on board of Willie Fernandez. Bolt overtakes Pesci. Back on for the race lead, and a net race lead as well, of course, for Rusty Bolt. Is he going? Well, he has to pit again. Let's not forget that. Rusty Bolt has to pit again. Pesci can technically go to the end. Although I'm going to be honest, I still think most of those at the front are still going to pit once more. And that may very well include the Bird. Whether on... Let's have a look. What's his tyres? The Bird on 18 laps on his mediums. I don't know, I think the Bird... Is he going to have to pit again? Got another 20 laps to go. He's going to have to try and go 38 in total on those mediums. What do you think, Vax? Do you think Bird's going to have to pit again?
Yeah, I'm definitely... He might. I mean, his tyres may be a bit on the younger side compared to the top three here. But I definitely don't think those tyres are going to last until the end of the race. However, we do have Woody retiring from the race. It definitely seems as if Woody had a bit of bad luck a few seconds ago, which is unfortunate for him, as he was in the top 10 there, especially with the top 10 battles he was having. However, it seems as if after some bad luck with the car, he's decided to retire from the race, and we've got an Alpine being lapped by the looks of it. As we go down further down the grid, we've got Willie Fernandez on the tail of Viking Fox. Seems as if these two might be battling very, very soon. Got quite a mix on the grid, as we've now got the two cars of Fox and Willie Fernandez going down the straight. Will Willie get the overtake on Fox? And he does. Going down the straight, he places himself in front of Fox, but it definitely seems as if there's going to be quite a battle between the two, as both Fox and Willie are on 25 lap mediums here, as Pesci and Bolt. I definitely think there's going to be quite a lot of pit stops soon. Quite a lot of the grid is going. Wait, hold on a minute. I've just noticed something. EM put himself on hard tyres, but I noticed as soon as he did, he retired from the race. So I think EM has just disqualified himself from the race, Fever.
Yeah, he's retired from the race in a way, so I think it's insignificant, so it's not going to factor into anything. And also I will mention Destroyer Jack pitted, but he's gone on to his older medium tyres, now 14 laps old. And yes, he did not pit 14 laps ago. He has pitted in the last 2 laps. Destroyer Jack on older mediums, and he's going to have to try and take them to the end. Unless he pits for softs, maybe go for a fast stat, but it's only going to take away a fast stat point from somebody rather than gain a fast stat point, because he's not had a particularly great race, unfortunately, for Destroyer Drac. He'll feel this is a disappointing showing from him, as we're going to go check back with Viking Fox overtaking Willie Fernandez and up into 8th place again. Can he end up getting through on Anthony in this Grand Prix? Let's have a look towards... We haven't really seen much of the bird lately, but he is now closing on a Merc. 1.2 back, but again, the bird may still need to pit. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, let's say he doesn't need to pit. Look at his gap to Pesci and Rusted Bolt. Over 15 seconds. If the bird were to get a victory from here without any safety cars, I know he's going to get a penalty after the race, but let's say he ended up winning the race, what a victory it would be for the bird. And obviously it would be a podium, so it would be a fantastic podium, and the bird can hang on to it. But it is a lot of hard work for the bird now, unfortunately, for that Williams. He has to get through on Merck, he has to get through on Pesci, and then he has to beat Rusted Bolt from this position. He is just getting through on Merck now, up into P3, which is for him a net P5. But can the bird get ahead of Rusted Bolt? That'll be the key question, and that is going to take a lot of work for the bird rack.
Yeah, Birds definitely has his work cut out for him. However, with the pace he's got at the moment, I definitely think it's in the cards for him with he's cutting down that time. However, if we're looking at the battle between Bolt and Pesci so far, Bolt has a half-second gap on Pesci at the moment, and it definitely seems as if it seems to be swaying quite a bit between the two. However, if we go back down to the mid-table here, it seems as if... Oh, go on, Viva, have you seen something?
Yeah, Pesci just had a half spin on the exit of turns 15 into 16, and that has that cost him at DRS? I mean, he's 1.2 back now. They're just going to see if that rear wing opens or not. He is not opening the rear wing. Pesci is not in DRS range here, so he lost out there, but he has got himself well back in a second. Luckily for him, he had enough battery to close the gap, but that did just cost Rusted Bolt fractions there. I'll let you get back to it, Rat, because I didn't really want to break you up there. Sorry about that.
All good. I would say if you've got something interesting, free to share it. Definitely best to share the interesting events from different points of view. However, going back down to the mid-table between Fox and Willie Fernandez here, two once again seem to be battling it out, as I think Willie has the DRS going down the straight. But will Willie be able to... No, he just stays behind. And as we go further back, we've got quite a gap from Frenchy to Ivy with an 11-second gap. And then Drac with a 26-second gap from Ivy. The poor lad has not had the best race tonight, but again, that might be due to the connection issues he may be having, especially with his screen for Drac. It's definitely not been a good lad. However, we've got our boy Kez. He's just plodding along at this point. I think Pez is just here. I think Kez is. He always is. However, if we go back, we've got Bolt and Pesci once again potentially battling it out as Pesci right on the tail of Bolt, and he may go take on the straight, and he does. Pesci overtakes Bolt once again, and again it's another scrap between the top two drivers here of the race, and Bird's now cutting it down to a 13.5-second gap. I think Bird may get within the cards here between the top three. I definitely think he may catch up sooner or later, because as we say, Bird is one of the fastest drivers in the league. Do you think there's a chance he may be able to Fever?
Yeah, I think he might have a chance, you know, and I'm also thinking in my mind, what can Pesci do that's different in this race? Going off track, Claire, certainly not one of the things he would have wanted to do. I wonder if Pesci's thinking, you know, to go for a late stint on the soft tyres and try and make sure Rusted Bolt cannot get within a second. Actually, the driver who's going for the undercut is Rusted Bolt. So Rusted Bolt is in, not the driver I was expecting to pit now. I was expecting Pesci to try and perform the undercut and make sure he's got the gap. But now it's going to be even tougher for Pesci potentially, because Russell is in. He's going to go for what you would imagine to be the soft tyres, and it is soft tyres. Interesting call. Don't forget Russell Bolt. Well, not Russell Bolt specifically, but everybody who's opted for the soft tyres had struggled so far. Russell Bolt had no choice but to pit. He had to pit for softs because he's gone for a medium stint. So he's had no choice here, and that has potentially opened the window for Pesci to go on those mediums and try and take them to the end. 30 laps on those mediums now. Does every driver in that top 4 have to pit still, or can they go to the end? Anthony in P6 is not in a bad position either. He's not far back from Hazer, for example. He may yet get ahead of Hazer, potentially even Merck in the race if Anthony could just pick up the pace a little bit. He's still got a chance there. Russell Bolt and Hazer having a little scrap, and Russell Bolt up into the top 4 now. So already getting past one of his potential title rivals. Is Russell Bolt going to charge for a potential victory here, Van?
I definitely think so. The way he's been flying on these softs so far, he's definitely got the pace. But the thing is will that last him to the end? We've got 58 out of 71, and it's Mr. Poem with a time penalty here, going so long without a time penalty in the race, and he picks one up towards the end, which is just unfortunate. And we've got a battle here between Anthony and Hazer. Anthony getting ahead of Hazer, and it seems as if Hazer's gone into the pits. Hazer has pitted for soft tyres towards the end of the race, and Mr. Poem moving up 31 lap old mediums. I say hards then, but then I remember there are no hards in this race. But yeah, it definitely seems to be quite a few drivers pitting now, as we have the drivers of William and Fox going into the pits for the softs, and it seems we're going to have quite a few drivers pits now, as we have Mr. on 31 hards, we've got Merck on a 31 lap old hards, and we've got Pesci as well, and it definitely seems like we might be having a few pits soon as Pesci stays out. Pesci stays out, make a lap 32 with the medium. I definitely think Pesci is going to try and go the distance. However, I think it may backfire for Pesci, as sooner or later he's ripping, he's going to end up losing quite a bit of time. However, Bolt just seems to be absolutely flying as he gets closer and closer to Merck now, it seems. I believe that's Merck. Yes, it is. It is Merck. And it seems as if Bolt is just absolutely flying. He's putting that time down absolutely massively. Do you think Bolt might be able to get the win?
Yeah, you know, he's got a very strong chance. That undercut call by Russell Bolt seems like the one. Two-stop strategy, medium, soft, and that may be the winning strategy here for Russell Bolt. But he has to make sure he catches up to the bird first. Obviously, I know the bird may have a penalty, or probably will have a penalty, and then he has to get within 6 seconds of Pesci. Why Pesci hasn't pitted, you may ask? Well, one, maybe the 6 second penalty overhanging, he might have just thought, you know what, I'm going to stick out. He may even be thinking, what if there's a late safety car? If there's a late safety car, he could be the one who gets fresh soft tyres, whereas other people may only have used soft tyres. So that could be one of the advantages for Pesci here. Obviously, you get track position as well with a late safety car. Apart from that, what other advantages does Pesci get? Well, he's got the track position, but now that gap continues to go down. Anthony picking up a penalty as Russell Bolt sets a purple lap, so it is a fastest lap for Russell Bolt, and that will be an extra point as things stand. But Russell Bolt looks like he may just be in prime position to win. The bird is also catching up to Pesci, so that top 3 look close, and then you've got Hazer well further adrift. He could still yet catch up to the likes of Merck and Anthony, and that could still end up being a possible 4th place for Hazer, but he's going to have to push hard on those soft tyres, which we know barely last 10 laps. That's the issue for, say, a Russell Bolt. He's got to go well more than that 10 laps. I say well more. Obviously, it's not superbly long. It's about 14 in total, but Russell Bolt has to go beyond that 10 lap margin. I think earlier in the race we saw Anthony go 12 laps. I don't think we've seen much more from any driver on the soft tyres. So Russell Bolt's trying to push hard, but also has to conserve some tyre life because they will fall apart come the end of this race. Maybe that's why Pesci has stayed out as long as he has, possibly thinking if I can pit, maybe even on this lap, then all of a sudden he can catch up to Russell Bolt in those final laps and end up getting clear of that 1 second window. So whether or not Pesci tries to go for a different strategy call is going to be interesting in terms of going for the soft tyres, or does he try and stick it out on these medium tyres, Rack?
Yeah, well, there's definitely quite a gap between him and 8-second gap in total. However, Ball once again just putting that time down as he gets it down to a 4.2 second gap, now a 4.1, and he gets it down to 3.9. Ball is just absolutely flying here, and Owen with the fastest time now. I think Mr. Poem is trying to take that extra point away from our potential race lead, as there's definitely quite a gap between him and Hazer, but I think Mr. Peace is trying to go for the fastest lap here to get himself that extra. However, it seems if down further into the mid-table, we've got quite a big gap between a few drivers. However, we have William, Ivy, and Viking potentially going into a battle here as we go into the double right-hander, and it's just very close between the three drivers here. We see a potential battle as we go down the straight. I'm going to keep watching these three, and I'll update you if I see anything, V.
Yeah, no worries. We are just on this battle as well, so not too much to watch out for just yet. But it will get more spicy as the laps go by, simply because drivers such as the Bird is gaining on Pesci, Bolt is gaining on both Pesci and Bird as well, and Hazer also gaining on both Merck and Anthony. Anthony trying to get closer to Merck, so as you can see, Mr. Poem was the fastest driver on the previous lap on his fresh softs. So a lot still to play for in this Grand Prix. Some drivers just trying to stick it out on those older tyres, such as Pesci, such as Merck, whereas other drivers, you've got the likes of Rusty Bolt, of course, you've got Hazer, you've got Mr. Poem, have all gone for those soft tyres. So all of these three, though, Viking, Fox, Ivy and Willie Fernandez, are all on the fresher soft tyres. William also making a move on Ivy, as Viking Fox had just done as well. So William into ninth. Viking Fox the only one of this trio without a time penalty, so it looks like he will be securing P8 for the V car. Just going to check on the penalty situation, and he has got 0. Mr. Poem has 3 seconds, and there's always a chance he can catch Mr. Poem, but it does seem an unlikely opportunity. Good race though for the two V Cubs, P7 Poem and P8 for Anthony so far in this race, Senrak.
Yeah, as you say, it's definitely been a steady race for the two V carbs, but it's good points for both the drivers, as it's definitely going to help them in the constructors quite a bit, as quite a few of the drivers have definitely retired. However, I do think it's also going to be points for the Williams as well, despite the fact that Bird is going to be getting that penalty towards the end of the race. I definitely think it's going to be quite a battle in the constructors this season, as quite a lot of the teams are very close battled. However, we do only have one Red Bull driver, that being Frenchie, in this race. But I do think Red Bull are definitely going to struggle in the constructors quite a bit. And never mind, Frenchie has retired Grand Prix. Frenchie has retired from the race. I eat my words at that sentence, as Frenchie has retired from the Grand Prix. Why do you think that might be, Viva?
It's a good question. Maybe frustrated at something. Something might have occurred. Yeah, commentator's curse there. Epic Frenchie out of the Grand Prix for the Red Bull. Pesci, meanwhile, has picked up another 3-second penalty. It's 9 seconds in total now, as does Hazer. So both of those drivers will be possibly dropping a bit further back. Certainly Pesci will. But the Bird is within that 9-second window, just over 6 seconds behind now. And Rusty Bolt just an extra 2 seconds behind on softs, which, don't forget, those soft tyres will begin to wear away. Merck did pit, but the interesting strategy that I found, he pitted for mediums, and now He's pitted for soft, so Merck, sadly for him, has dropped behind Viking, William and Ivy. And he's on soft, which is okay, brilliant for him. Can he catch up to Viking, Fox and William, who are doing so well in P7 and P8 here? Merck has it all to do to recover a top 7 finish, and that's not what you would expect from Merck in this race. And obviously with that incident earlier on, I think with Hazer, that could even cost Merck even more, so Merck may not be getting even a top 10 in this race. We'll see what happens. Willie Fernandez, though, directly behind Viking Fox here, within half a second, and he's still keeping close comfort on the V-carb. But Willie Fernandez right now has 3 seconds more penalties than Ivy, and is just over 3 seconds ahead of Ivy as well. So that battle between William and Ivy effectively is continuing. But we're going to go up the field because Rusted Bolt is within a second of the bird rack.
Yeah, Bolt is definitely closing in on Bird now. See if he can get that overtake on Bird. He does have the younger softs here, so we'll have to wait and see. But Bolt definitely seems to be the faster driver out of the two, as that time just goes further and further down. But we'll have to see if he can get the overtake on Bird and actually catch up to Pesci. As Bolt gets close to the rear end, will he be able to get the overtake on the straight? Let's stay on and find. Bird locks up going into the turns now as they start going towards 15 and 16. And let's see if he can catch him on the straight, because Bolt will have DRS. He's right on the tail as they go down the straight. Bolt makes the move anyway, and he gets ahead of Bird. Will he have the DRS? I think he does. He does. He has the DRS going down the straight as he makes to the turn, with Bird very close behind. I definitely think it's going to be a battle between the two towards the end of this race here, but we'll have to see if they can catch up to Pesci. Pesci has, I believe you said, a 6 second or a 9 second. Hold on, let me just switch over to the penalty. Yeah, 9 second. So that is definitely a secure win for Bolt here, given Pesci's time penalty. Do you think that there might be anything drastic towards the end of the race?
No, I think it's it for Bolt now. He's got the win sewn up pretty much. He's within that 9 seconds. The Bird surely cannot do anything about it, given those medium tyres are not going to be working particularly efficiently as opposed to Rusted Bolt. He's still been quick, the Bird, don't get me wrong. He's caught up to Pesci very quickly as well, but the tyre life unfortunately is just not there for him. And don't forget, these two were battling hard for the championship last season. In the end, Rusted Bolt just about managed to pip the Bird to the title. Those two drivers are also teammates now in Tier 1. And yet again, they're title rivals once again in the 100% tier this season. I mean, it's fascinating. The battles going on between Rusted Bolt and the Bird. These two seem to be fierce rivals, yet teammates in Tier 1. It's incredible how it works out that way. The Bird, though, is getting closer. He was having a look into turn 4 as well, but does not quite attempt the overtake on the inside as Merck receives another 3 seconds. 9 in total now for Merck, who has to beat Willie Fernandez ahead of him on track to be able to beat the Alpine. He will not be beating Viking Fox by the looks of things, but he does set a fast lap of 1:15.903, which may just comfort Merck that little bit more, because he'll be disappointed about how his race has gone tonight. We are just going to stick with the Bird here, just exiting away from sector 2 and into the final sector here as we'll head on to lap 68. They are still continuing to close the gap on your race leader Pesci. And here we go again. The Bird does have DRS all the way to turn 1, not burning the battery however, and Rusted Bolt does preserve that P2. Can the Bird do anything about this to get in front of Rusted Bolt? Don't forget, even if the Bird could get ahead of Rusted Bolt, that will be an extra place that the Bird doesn't have to worry about in terms of losing, because if he were to get a P1 come the end of this, it would only drop him to P3 most likely, going by what we think the penalty situation will be, as the Bird now goes for the move round the outside on Rusted Bolt, but cannot get the move done. Again, just a lack of grip, not working in favour of the Bird there, Rack.
Yeah, as we've said, it definitely seems as if Bird is struggling for grip, especially since Bolt is on the younger softs. But it definitely seems as if Bolt is now struggling to catch up to Pesci quite a bit, as the gap went from a 2.5 to 2.7. But hopefully within the last few laps, maybe, just maybe, Bolt can close that gap to Pesci. But at the same time, he's got Bird to worry about, so I don't think he'll be wanting to burn his battery out too quick, trying to defend against Bird. But we'll just have to wait and see. However, I do think that P1 is definitely secure for Bolt now as we move on to lap 69. And it seems as if we've got quite a few drivers here. And Bird gets the overtake on Bolt. That is just absolutely stellar from Bird as he goes for the overtake at the last on Bolt. But it seems as if it's going to be another back and forth between Bolt and Bird here. And it definitely seems it's going to be a battle that goes towards the end as the from Bird and Pesci gets down to 1.6. I think Pesci is definitely starting to struggle for grip now as he has pitted whatsoever. He's only done a one stop as far as I'm aware. And I definitely think that's starting to show on Pesci's grip towards the end of the race. I think Pesci might be losing here, and he definitely might be losing. I think he's starting to panic a little bit, seeing the time go down. But we'll have to wait and see here as we go into the last few laps, as we start going on to lap 70 of the race with a few laps to go, and it definitely seems as if Bird and Bolt are going to battle once again going down the straight, Viva.
Yeah, Rustabolt here surely got his sights on this overtake. Back into P2 he goes. And the benefit for Rustabolt here is he will get within a second of Pesci as well. And now he's got within 9/10. So Rustabolt is in DRS range of Pesci, heading on to the final lap of this Grand Prix. The win is surely sewn up for Rustabolt on track as well. What a display of driving, and also what an excellent strategy. The medium soft in a no hard tyre race has worked to perfection for Rustabolt in this Grand Prix, but he has got to go for 1.5 laps longer to secure victory here at the Mexican Grand Prix rack.
Yeah, as we see getting closer and closer to Pesci, so he may be able to get him on the next straight. But we'll have to wait. And it gets very close, but he decides not to go. Now Bird goes. And that's very close contact between Alpine and Willie. But it seems as if Bird has cost himself quite a bit of time there as he too deep into that corner. As we've now 3 cars down the straight, and it seems as if both Bird and Bolt have down the straight, but can Bolt get the overtake? But it's Bird out in front. Bird gets the P1 final first few turns, Beaver.
Oh, incredible move there by the Bird, down the inside of Rustabolt, getting the lead of the Grand Prix on the final lap. But Rustabolt, he has still got chances. Speaking of chances, here comes Pesci on the inside of Bolt, scrapping away, but Pesci defends it well, Bolt rather, defends it well. Pesci losing out and Pesci dropping to P3. He will finish P3 obviously due to his time penalties, but will actually take the place away from Bird here. That's probably why he's trying to fight it a little bit. But Rustabolt, he will get one final opportunity, one final dagger in the heart of the Bird. Is he close enough heading into the final corners? He is not close enough. And Rustabolt, within the final sector of this Mexican Grand Prix, the Bird leads from Bolt from Pesci. Can Bolt make a last gasp move? He's going to go for a switchback. Is it going to work for Bolt here? He's on the inside line, but the Bird takes victory at the line. But as Pesci spins, just about crossing the line as well. But as we all very much know, it does look like Rustabolt's going to be securing a win due to a likely penalty for the Bird, as he did not let Kesenator through under the safety car, which is pretty much a dead cert to place grid penalty for the bird. So unfortunately, he will likely be dropping down to P3 in this race, which means Pesci would rise to P2, but more importantly, that would mean Rusted Bolt would come home with a victory here at the Mexican Grand Prix. I do wonder if he knows that or not. He probably doesn't, as far as I know. I don't think he knows that. But Anthony gets home in P4. Fantastic race on the Ferrari as well. Hayes a fifth after that little incident he had with Merck earlier in the Grand Prix. Just couldn't quite recover their positions after that. Mr. Poe P6. Viking Fox comes home with a superb 7th. Merck fought very hard. In the end, Merck gets 8th place. But look at the gap. Barely half a second to Viking. That was just how quick Merck was in that final stint. And that is it then. For the results, Merck gets 8th, but it is victory on track for the bird. But a likely penalty means Rusted Bolt is set to secure the victory, Zach.
Yeah, it's definitely been quite a race for Bolt here. He's raced well, he's played his strategies well. As you said, that medium soft stint has definitely helped him a lot in this race, but I definitely think, well, I'm looking at the chat now, if Bird has been, Bird is absolutely clueless, and everyone's updating him, saying that he's going to have the penalty for not letting Kez through. And he's absolutely confused here. It definitely seems as if Bird is not going to be happy with the penalty that he's getting here.
Yeah, it'll be a frustrating one for the bird. I don't think he knows it yet, but I think he knows it now. Obviously, he will be added to the incident so that he can post his POVs, but it is a set in stone rule now. You do have to let the cars who are trying to unlap themselves through, so that they can get back onto that lead lap. So unfortunately for the bird, it's pretty much a set in stone penalty, and therefore he will drop down to what looks to be a 3rd place finish behind Rusted Bolt, and then Pesci would also rise up into 2nd place. So unfortunately, the rules are rules, as I've just seen Tech put in, pretty much. But yeah, it would effectively be a podium of a Rusted Bolt P1, P2 would go to Pesci, and P3 would go to the bird. But yeah, strong race altogether. No hard tyres, certainly throwing a few difficulties for the drivers tonight. Anything surprising that you saw from tonight's showing, Vac?
I was definitely expecting Bolt to get quite a high place in this race, but for him to get the win, that has absolutely shocked me here tonight. Congratulations to Bolt here tonight. Definitely going to help him in the standings in the championship, and it's definitely going to help in the constructors as well. However, I do feel bad for the bird, as well, as we say, it seems as if he wasn't aware of the lapped penalty. But it seems as if he's going to be dropping down to P3. But it's still good points for the bird at the end of the day. And I'm definitely looking forward to Suzuka next week. And we'll definitely see how that goes. As far as I'm aware, there's no special rule for Suzuka next week. But it's definitely one of the more challenging tracks on the. So I'm excited to see how the drivers do next week, Viva.
Yeah, I mean, Japan next week, and then the next time we've got something so-called special, I suppose, I think is the word being mentioned, but it would be a reverse grid at Brazil on round 6. So that'll be in a month's time, effectively, from now. In a month's time, we'll have a reverse grid race at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And the week after that, it would be a mystery race for round 7. But for next week, round 3 will be the Japanese Grand Prix. Round 4 will be Qatar, round 5 will be Las Vegas. So a lot of quick flowing circuits through Japan, Qatar, Vegas, and Brazil to look forward to. A very strong, solid calendar, I'd say. I think obviously they've got Singapore later in the season, and that will be a bit of a curveball, I think, for that stage. Let's see what's happening in the chat. Kesonator says enjoyed that overtake on Ivy. Yeah, it was a brilliant move, Kesonator. You were excited for yeah, I was definitely. Me and Rax certainly enjoyed a little battle there with Ivy. Brilliant stuff there. Hazer says the fewer off these no hard tyre race, the better. Who knows? Who knows for whether it's next season on the same game, next season on the new game, whatever it is, depending on when the new game comes out, obviously. There might be more. There might still just be the one. Who knows? Remains to be seen. Anything else that I've missed? This is turning into a saucy little race. I did see that earlier from Deck. So I think that's all good. I will just double check the TikTok in case I've missed anything. I don't think I have. So that's all fine. But yeah, going through the next few weeks, and Japan is coming up next week. So we've got to look forward to that one. And that's the first one coming up. Qatar and Vegas, as I said, and the reverse grid at Brazil, and a mystery track after that. The season finale is at Austria as well. So still a lot to look forward to. Let's look forward to the week ahead then. So for tomorrow night, Saturday, the international tier, 9 o'clock p.m. start, and round 2 heads to Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Then go through on, what day is it? On Monday, that's the one I'm looking forward to. And Tier 1, it'll be a mystery track for Tier 1, Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. Tuesday, 8 o'clock p.m. for Tier 2, that'll be at the Circuit of the Americas for Texas in the USA. Tier 3, Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m. will be held at the Netherlands. And then, of course, back next week for Friday night, held at the Japanese Grand Prix. Yeah, are you looking forward to that one at Japan then, Vak?
Yeah, most definitely. It's one of my favourite tracks to watch on the real F1 as on the online sports leagues. Definitely leads to a lot of drama and a lot of, so we'll definitely have to see how our drive compete on Suzuka next week. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I'm definitely looking forward to commentating once again next week with you, Viva.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to that one. Another splendid show, and great to be on the comms as well for you with you. So certainly looking forward to that race next week at Suzuka. I mean, Japan typically does have a great race. I remember the Tier 1 race last season. That was an incredible race. I mean, I know Matthias went on to dominate, but the battle to further back from P2 right to last place pretty much was absolutely brilliant. And it wasn't a long DRS train, there were a few different DRS trains, but pretty much every driver in that Grand Prix were involved in a fantastic battle. But yeah, looking forward to Japan next week, no doubt about it. Kesonator, haven't been in top 10 since start of season 7. Wow. Hazer, my days without a win goes to 200 days. Ouch. Wait. Your days without a win. Does that include the international tier, may I ask? If that includes the international tier, what have you been doing? That's mad. If you have not even won a race on like the international tier, for example. I know Mano won a lot last season, but I would have expected you to have won in the international tier at least last season, surely. Kesonator should have overtaken for day. Well, you may have very well have won that if we did, which is obviously why you're making that suggestion. Drax says my eyes hurt so much, the screen was stuttering so much. Yeah, I mean, I think you might have to look into your PC for that one. I can't lie, Jack, unfortunately. Anything else? Yeah, so Jack said I wanted this race to end lap 1. Ouch. Very much ouch. Anything else that I've missed? I don't think so. Yes, Hazer pretty much confirms it. Can you join for not for one race? I mean, hopefully not. Anyway, I will send the link in. You can join. Eric, interesting final name there. I will send the link in, so you can join on this if it lets me post it. Okay, it's not letting me copy it, unfortunately. It's not even letting me send a message. Right, give me 2 seconds and I will post a link in for you. Gonna have to get a new link for the league to Eric, and then we'll give this final, well, basically give a final outro. There you go. So that'll be the link if you would like to join a Discord. Hopefully it went through. Did it go through? It didn't actually go through. Why is it not gone through? Paste it again. Not even letting me send the link now. If anybody is able to send the link into the Twitch, please feel free. It's not even letting me send the link in. That's a bit silly, isn't it? But yeah, anyways, for this evening's race, as Rak was saying, a fantastic Grand Prix. And in terms of the race itself, congratulations to Rusted Bolt for taking what would be a post-penalty victory here at the Mexican Grand Prix. Commiserations to the bird, obviously getting that penalty, dropping to P3, and Pesci who looks like he's got a P2, but still very strong results and will keep their title hopes alive. If you're in a position of, say, Deck, obviously not getting his setup on for the start, not ideal for him, and therefore he'll be losing out in that championship battle, but he's still got 10 more weeks to go, so he can get himself right back in there with a couple of victories, of course. But yeah, if somebody is able to get the Twitch, I will try it again, but for me, it keeps not letting me send a message, and I don't know why. Let me try it one more time. Paste a link. Yeah, it's done the same thing. For some reason, it's not letting me send a link whatsoever into the Twitch. I'm hoping somebody is able to do it. I'm going to try it one more time. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's doing it for me. I can add you though, or maybe I can send you a message. I can send you a message for it. Let's try that. Is it going to work now? No. Don't know why it's not working for me though. Oh, there you go. Now it's worked. Amazing. Amazing how it took that long to go through. But there you go. That's the link to the Discord. So if you would like to join, feel free. But yeah, for tonight, though, I would like to give a special thank you to Zach for the co-coms. You've done a brilliant job, mate. Thank you. Very much appreciated, Zach.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to co-commentate with you, Viva.
Yeah, all good, all good. Certainly looking forward to Japan, as we were saying. 2 rounds down, 10 to go here in the 100% tier. And again, we've got the next race for UFRL tomorrow night, which will be at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And next week for the 100% tier, it will be live from the Japanese Grand Prix. Thank you for watching. We have been UFRL. I have been UFRL F1 Viva, joined by Dat Trash Rack for co-commentary tonight. And thank you for watching, and good night.